accountability. Ghana needs a leadership that will roll up its sleeves and accept responsibility for our current reality and face the present storm stoically and steer the ship of state into safer and calmer waters. Ghana and its present crisis needs leadership that will do things differently, including sacrificing personal comforts to achieve a Ghana of shared prosperity for all of us, not just a few. The next 4 years will be pivotal for our country's destiny. The urgency required to take our country to the height it deserves will be matched by each waking day. If there was any indication of intent to think outside the box, to be innovative and use our best human resources to deliver the Ghana we all want, then it is in my choice of Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman as my running mate. As my running mate and potential Vice President of Ghana going into the 2024 elections, I do not doubt this, as her globally acclaimed credentials attest to that. Nana Jane is a woman of unquestionable integrity and whose reputation for honesty and ethical behavior is unparalleled. Our late leader, the founder of the National Democratic Congress and the Fourth Republic, President Jerry John Rawlings, acknowledged her integrity when he told her in 2020, "There is no doubt that it is your integrity that has earned you the position as running mate." Where a company called SML, the government regulator for the downstream fuels sector is NPA. NPA have put in place a mechanism for monitoring evasion in terms of taxes on fuel. The Minister of Finance, who is the President's cousin, asked GRA to sign another agreement with a company called SML to do exactly the same thing that NPA is doing. And they are paying that company for doing that. They pay them almost 20-something million Ghana cedis. And they are not satisfied. Now they want to expand the corruption. So they sign an agreement with the company and say, "Oh, every oil that we export, record it so that we don't lose anything." Meanwhile, there's already a system in the oil industry for making sure that Ghana gets its fair share. And he says that for every oil that is exported, we'll give you 75 cents on every barrel. And he says for every gold that is exported, we'll give you 75 cents. So monitor it for us. And so this is a company that would easily have run away with about $100 million every year for no work done. And I mean, you cannot fleece a country like this. One would have thought that the corruption cases were enough, but it's even made Ghanaians numb. Now Ghanaians are not surprised again. The corruption does not shock Ghanaians the way it used to shock us. Today when there's a scandal, people are like, "Oh, yeah, because they are all tired. Everybody is tired. And so even in the twilight, when you're about to exit office, you are still coming up with schemes to steal Ghanaians' money. But I say that this won't happen. An NDC government under me will not accept or recognize this SML agreement. We will not accept or recognize the SML agreement. Parliament is investigating it. The president has hurriedly gone to get KPMG to come and audit it. Whatever audit they do, I say we won't accept or respect any agreement with SML. And for the money that they've taken already, we will hold them to account for that money. A former Minister of Education, a trailblazing first female Vice Chancellor of a public university in Ghana, and celebrated as a scholar and as an administrator, her shining credentials are endless on the African continent and across the globe. She is a woman who will accept responsibility and bring honesty and truth back to the office of the Vice President. With Nana Jane as my Vice President, Ghana can be assured that an NDC government led by me, President John Dramani Mahama, will fight corruption and restore the gaping absence of accountability that is the current hallmark of this government. We will work tirelessly to ensure transparency, accountability, and justice for all and not just a few. I know Nana Jane is a passionate advocate of the Mahama 24-hour economy policy. She understands the importance of providing equal opportunities for women and young people to thrive in our economy. And as Vice President, she will ensure that women and young people have more access to jobs, helping to create a more inclusive and prosperous society. Beyond our Ghanaian borders, Nana Jane's esteemed reputation precedes her. Major international organizations and allies highly regard her, and she will represent Ghana with dignity and efficiency on the global stage. Her presence will open doors, increase trust for our nation, and secure many benefits with our international partners. But perhaps most importantly, Nana Jane represents the aspirations and dreams of every Ghanaian, especially our female population.
Well, my Miss Amo Akwababi, Jasu Jumediani live on OK 101.7 FM. And it's all about NDC. I mean, because we want to understand NDC policy, NDC agenda, NDC direction, NDC vision, how more Emma Ghana. Because as you know, we are just about 6 months away from December 7th. December 7th, and I'm here, and the above who we are dealing with. NDC is a key stakeholder. Our election 2024 now key stakeholder is one of the biggest political parties. And if I do the analysis to you and the numbers, they are telling you areas are NDC winning here, regions NDC winning here. Ubon say run on the form because we NPP nimpo now all four say we about me and ebeko and now we CPP ni, we PNC ni, we third force ni, we Lanchamantia for Frantokra. You cannot go into any election for that matter, Ghana, ignoring NDC. It is a big party. 1 year here, crown out of the over 30-something years of Ghana, yeah, for the public. Now, about 16 years of it, NDC now govern. NDC was so much experience in Ghana politics, in generally about politics, in a human Ghana funkasa behavior, the behavior of voters in the election processes. Because party are waiting to elections more than elections from 1992 to 1996, 2000, 2004, 2012 to 2016, 2020 elections. 7 elections. You cannot underestimate the power, the knowledge, the intelligence of a political party, sir. That's what we need, you cannot negate the intelligence and the strategic thinking that has gone into elections. There, NDC are participating in it. And unlike NPP for 1992 elections, no, or man caught parliamentary, no, They only went for presidential because at the time, not the way I took about presidential anyway, and Sunny Asanko to parliamentary. From 1992 all the way up to today, every election, general election, they have been a key partakers of it. You cannot only MPP, you cannot NDC cry to even win the 2024 election. No cry. You cannot dismiss NDC. And if you look at 2016 elections, if you know there, you look at all the elections, but we have 1992 and 96 because I know the obedience my argument say it wasn't clearly contested. Because at the time, because here Rollins we were exiting Rollins and Memonitino. And as I read on about what that ballot box and you used to do. Now you Abyssinia battle, Adaka Edico Sedipa. Sam Bakanani at the two about 1992, 1996. Now you see any paper you go home. But since ever 2000 cranny used to black and white crown, first near Tom printing and also a voter's ID card all the way. We have had a very competitive election here. What's your NDC participation here? Now your MPP, now you are going into this election, fooling yourself or lying to yourself or deceiving yourself. Oh, NDC, oh, my and big mistake. Because if I show you the regions, just like I did for MPP 40, and what I did MPP 40 and I will show you regions, BTC central region. So even with NDC cross selecting running mate from central region, NPP won in the presidential in central region, and I do win. But parliamentary seats may be MPP for Luzu Poto and NDC for G. So some of those seats back to NDC. In the elections where I caught in 2026 and 2024, a very tricky election. It can go anyway. But the research that I have seen, Miyama Kamwa said much them that research other people like is showing you say Gabano not NDC lead that. So what we are doing here with Deputy Director of Communication for NDC, Akugan, say, and then we want him to take advantage and explain to us what is President Mahama bringing to the table. Is NDC returning back to the Jubilee House or they are going back to opposition? Whichever way, no, Mama said that say a history in NDC be creating. Whether NDC goes back to Jubilee or they go into opposition in a history no be creating because. If they go into opposition, this will be the first time a younger party there. After 8 years, they are going back into opposition. They didn't see that. Because the system that you created Ghana somehow, some way, at least since 92, they say after 8 years, if you are not near whatever happens, if this goes back to Jubilee House, it will also be historic because this will be the first time a party they are governing 8 years. They've gone into opposition and come back to Jubilee House. So again, President Mahama is doing better so he will create history whichever way. He will also create history. So Oba running mate. Oba after losing the 2016-2020 elections so with Oba as running mate. If he wins, he would have won again for the first time with Oba as running mate on the ticket of NDC back to Jubilee House. So whichever way, no, you cannot dismiss NDC. So today, it's all about NDC. It's all about NDC. Last week, NPP. Today, we are doing NDC. What is the vision of NDC? Because they are about which I'm sure by now, a 24-hour economy. No. But if you look at NDC and launching or more vision, or UPS now, they spoke more about just 24-hour economy. No. But once a new media for the assembly, usually, no, we look for the headlines. Media for the study of humanity. Journalism school, they teach you about the inverted pyramid. Which one is the most important? Which one is the most newsworthy? That is what will make the headline. And some of the but say the society no so and baby kind headlines one kind of. So Mahama didn't just speak about 24-hour economy. No, he spoke about port issues. He spoke about industrialization. Okay, last election, he brought this big push about creating jobs, 10 million jobs. He spoke about all these things are part of NDC vision. No? That is even different from what NDC will bring in their manifesto. But the vision will encapsulate the broader perspective, the bigger vision of NDC. The vision of President Mahama, that's what it really is. It's giving you a bigger picture of NDC and what they will do. Part of it, no, now President Mahama, even all the Professor Jenano Pokwa, he mentioned a bit of it, but let me show you one thing so that you understand why at this election where you're very critical. We NDC new, we NPP new. In fact, we NDC new. I said the year I said don't get your don't also get swollen headed. We NDC new, don't get complacent. Oh, what we know more, Debbie. Terminology some time ago. Say he didn't just go to bed. Okay, NPP for time. One of these, they are old people. ICQ, former Greater Accra Regional Minister. Some time ago, now NPP for at the thick of their campaign, or the slogan be by Agbena. Agbena no one could do. He went down and went, and that is how they won the 2016 elections. Which is what and I don't know. Let me look for that video. Was saying, some people in NDC are behaving so much. We need that. He says so they are going around and sharing positions. Now, this is no time, and this is coming from a Sedun Ketia. If you are looking for one of the most experienced politicians in Ghana politics, one of the most experienced politicians in Ghana politics, we Sedun Ketia. That is the Sedun Ketia's name must be on it. Definitely and certainly, a Sedun Ketia's name should be and must be on that list. If we are looking for most experienced politicians in Ghana, he must be on that list. Because from before Krayawu Mumubi, a Sedun Ketia was doing politics. In FTDR, PNDC time, a Sedun Ketia was doing politics as secretary for a year Greek. Our year Jumana Chen, Sedun Ketia in his wisdom and knowledge or say, don't sit there and not coach a post. Yeah, Jumana. Now we are doing we are and son of Abejina baby Abekase, who bechiche post. In any case, young Kwan, Ghana, Africa, a drew se party ba power, not campaign cry. Almost campaign yappy. Your job is not to sell by your campaign when you be. And ideally, in the normal democratic process, no, and I will bow party more about power. Oh, bow party about power. So by your money, no be any not for you in particular. So no benya ubotom di abekakodi ubeji got a contract ukakodi a year first ka ho contract akodi no enti party for na usually party be power no mama party na say form because when NDC winning power 2012 elections people ashama from ashama to ablekuma to Kumasi to Tamale and kofo kodi the toilet the same thing NPP for winning here kofo kodi toilet and that shows you I thought they be ana minim say you here no poverty. I am not affecting your dreams, but the Sedun Ketia kind, we NDC party full soldier. This should be very instrumental to you, very critical to you. Said this is no time to sleep. This is no time to go and sit on social media and insult. This is no time to fool. This is no time to deceive yourself. This is no time. This is the time. Share with party issues. More platform, baby. And 24-hour economy, no, and what President Mahama vision. The outcome of woman, how are you even explain? 24 hours no crowd to me explaining. We a party full soldier. 24 hours no crowd. You are not able to explain it to another person. Your job is to convert people. We end this full soldier. When you want to say, we NPP for no sympathizers no, and yet that hard for no sympathizers. You should be converting some of them to NPP. You to NDC. Convert them to NDC so that they will vote. Because we have 50+1 to cross over. But what they are social media now, it's not changing and converting to vote. This is the critical issue. And I say, don't get your can. And unfortunately, party full soldiers, baby, are just not listening. They are not listening. Yeah, they are tradition. Anyone say they be and we are not changing the status quo. What you say? Uncle Mary, Mammy, that was saying, no, now, mommy, attention, but so say. First a microphone in here, so thank you so much. And I pedo for Medina Cruz, and I also can say, oh, Thanos, Kumasi Thanos, so Kesbe, a junction, so I'll still keep it up. Thank you so much. Ono Kofonia or Facebook, Muniki Lamte, also mommy attention, but so Juliet, so mommy attention, but so thank you so much. Coach Lee, also Mahama is trying to come back to power, but he's not going to go anywhere. Well, it doesn't lie in your mouth. That's what a lot of you don't know. Oh, Mama, Winnie, it doesn't lie in your mouth. Juma Mahama Baye, Miwa, Mama campaign, or Simunyane, or Simunyane. Oh, yeah, analysis now. Don't use passion. Don't use Wakoma. Munipa Medicano. I was so used to let your head lead you. My emotions and cloud of judgment. And my emotions and cloud of judgment to cry. Mama, another example. Footballer, yeah, see, ne my me say, I say, ne mano, it goes for Munina, Yenina, it goes for Yenina, Yaman, Yenina. A better be a you see a coma. Ghana memma bebre aba ye hwe to kese wan nti na mama man no koye omoto no ye hwe to kese ye hwe oba kokko ne oba kokko ne edum kane akra obehu no ni nyina ho ne free nti uko use oba kokko ne to kese ko wai na eba na o ma ne o ma na me tu Facebook no blame you ko tonga no mo sorry am de tonga ne to kese na mo deze selection eno ani be be wie mu no fa ti fa adwene nyansa hwe de o nyansa wisdom. The same thing goes for party full soldiers and this in NPP. Who person will party winning for a some strategy, thinking, fire Juma, fire campaign. Men koye emotional. Now I hear to tell me, man, no more to echo man, no copy, oh, I will be a super to Cassia. Sane Bayo. Do NDC, this is the time. Strategy, the area Ben on whom say the vote margin between NDC and NPP na ekitwebi. Baby to set tema East. Ya wo me am ya kola wo tema nyina. NDC really tema East. Last election 2020, NDC won the election. In fact, 2016, there was just about 3 percentage votes, percentage got 3 nominal numbers, 3 difference, 3 and NPP for the winning seat in Tema East. And 2 NDC near unim says seat no NPP for definitely they will try to take it back. And this is the time I will call room to room. Baby, I wouldn't say what ye before you look at even crowd started to small party for her and look at Eba and send NPP NDC to me we need them is which areas so ain't gonna vote if you if it time my here new town if you polling station way if it time come to 1 if it time come to a first 8 if it time come to 8 if it this is how you analyze it and then one analyze here you know say vote to next swing you know if you constituency way new town e buy New Town for baby no better ho and I say you vote for a reporting. You go for transfer of vote from another constituency no de ba ho. Their parties and this NPP they have all this data from Electoral Commission. So they are able to analyze and see. Say oh because and Ashama about 2,000 voters from Ashama transfer or move vote from Ashama to Tema East. It's almost the other count and neutralize a trade now a war between NDC and NPP no and NDC be winning. This is how you sit down as a party food soldier to help your party. Now party winning you know because you believe in the vision of a party, then your party can implement say 24-hour no. Then you come and implement it, but not before Ube winning. Before Ube winning, you ought to explain it to party for Ghana for you know because see party for never to amount probably. Sympathizers kakra beto when you're 50+1. At the end of the day, you are governing for everybody. That is why even now, NPP 40 you can hear more people or more neutral. If you are coming neutral, you are on but they are complaining about $1. They are complaining about Ghana economy. They are complaining about inflation. They are complaining about Juma because it is their job. And no better so I would you be a tax. Although a year or party for a better amount, sympathizers kakabeka not the entire population a better amount yet. But to me, you are representing the entire population. Say 33 million. You are representing all of us. Would you be taxes? Would you be taxes? It will be all right to say, oh, I buy no back criticize. It even before class NDC Beko Jubilee also. So Beko back to opposition. Say NPP for a bebo, it doesn't matter. Everybody be a stakeholder. Also be a casa. Everybody is talking because the political and the democratic process belongs to all of us. It doesn't just belong to NDC, and it doesn't belong to NPP, and it doesn't belong to Ted Ford. It doesn't belong to Afafantonkwa, and it doesn't belong to Kofi Kranti and Asa Cheddar. It belongs to everybody. And you know, and that is why it's very crucial. Say, questions are we will tailor it to suit baby. Your tax is free, no. What I say, let me go back to the issue and now then I'll bring you back to the numbers. Regional breakdown. I'll show you regions are NDC winning. There are regions are NDC winning. Which is why I think about me. I said, oh, because no Kofi Tonto ba Wednesday, also na Kofi Tonto kase. Oma shada na omo nkasa. Because Omo who say, Mahama di any kind of Mahama will really kind because Mahama will opposition because opposition usually no more time. Less pressure. won't see a conya so. And then, oh, sorry, I'm a pa. Nipa, ebe won't about position, about better will not so to tell what power. What power? There's more pressure on you, more pressure to deal with issues. What I say? And the NDC was starting campaign now. We call first round, we call second round. Mahama get me oh, no way. Into 6 months, I came. Mahama bet me 4 to Enti ba me aka say no baby Mahama ko no adi kan so or the kasa bebre a obeluzu and that is why he has decided obe limit kasa no now why your groundwork na catch up with Mahama and son ade akobone. This is why I also be out wani ekoniema bisu no. So let me take you to a Siedun Ketia, then I'll take you to the regions. Greater Accra region is one of the battlegrounds. Greater Accra region, a battleground. Greater Accra region is likely say ebeko ama NDC. I've told you already. Many prophets where forecast. If you understand the numbers, you can tell. Areas are Omobenya, areas Omunya. We said the same thing last election 2020. NPP will lose in Greater Accra region. Results nearby and NPP lost in Greater Accra region. But Greater Accra region, and yet lose, typical as in lose. If you look at the aggregate of the total population, voter population, they will Greater Accra region now. NPP lose, you can imagine it. That is why Ashanti region based there continues to be critical. And that is why NDC being smart, they are trying to align themselves with people like Kofi Boachim, who are very influential in Ashanti region, so that they can sway part of the vote. Because Muntaka Mubarak, my Juma grounds that baby to Swansea, and NDC NPP to me Swansea, even with their Kosunina, NPP cannot take Swansea. Address it to Juma say NPP cannot take it. Because secular communities or more to NDC. So what Muntaka nominate NDC for 1 year in those areas in Ashanti region is just to increase the numbers there. Increase the number there. If voter registration exercise here, of course, if they're able to increase the number of people or voters, any first Muntaka constituency as once here, they will be able, even if they make 5% extra. Debate me you should have 5% now when you because Ashanti region 5%, no. It is a voter region 100%. So what you say? Ashanti region 5% depending on what it is a voter region 100% because nipadi go Ashanti region no doso. Just a matter of statistics, where population. You check statistical service, a population council for research now. Oh yeah, census ni we no de buy. The whole Ghana region nipadi doso pa Greater Accra region. Omukuta 5.7 million. 5.7 million, followed by Ashanti region 5.6 million. The amount Ashanti region in Greater Accra region dynamics is slightly different. They say Greater Accra region, although NDC we knew a Greater Accra region, technically no shot by the nominal numbers. Now NPP for no more year champion with Greater Accra region. Baby, to say Domi Kwabenya, NDC cannot win. Advance for constituency no. Makokweo advance for NDC cannot win. Sa constituency no. NPP for strong gold. Baby, to say wager. Very unlikely say NPP better because if you look at the margin between NDC and NPP, NDC a close gap, no, but still a wide. And yet area I'll bet me a close gap nekeke. And how close? I will yeah then are they close? Oh, confirm voters from other consensus. And they are be good. This is it's too far baby to say Ashama only to Ashama there. And why NDC stronghold dada? It's whether parliamentary seat just simple majority. It's the NPP for they are not looking to win at Ashama. Ashama baby NPP for Benya home BP or because someone so yet then Ashama found two more with that. NPP is aware of it. So NDC can decide say because Ashama is already the World Bank in Greater Accra region. On meeting for about 5% of the total votes in Ashama. Nobody call baby to say wager. Because wager imagine now election 2020 election NDC close gap no, but it's about 15,000 no woman. Into almost 5% of Ashama they be good if they can close the gap, they will look at things like that. What you say, it won't make aggregate sense in terms of presidential results because presidential results a Greater Accra region as aggregate any other thing. It will porter from Ashama Kogu Wage Accra in presidential and what it will do no parliamentary no. And you can do that so person parliamentary majority because this election year 2024 is likely say NDC will get the majority in parliament. It's likely NDC will get the majority in parliament. And parliament, because they're very slim. Parliament, and yet for me now, and hang parliament. We were 136. It's parliament no more a temper. And temper is so dicey, say. Bibi Twitchy say it's not this election where you are so critical for the presidential, for the parliamentary, critical. It's in a party full soldiers say yeah rough that we didn't go for them and no matter because you don't have to do that. Election way from parliamentary to presidential, a dangerous election. Election where anything can happen. They can't be there because they're dangerous. Parliament is dangerous. Parliament is direct. Presidential direct. Because Mahama himself, although Oliji Baumia Kakrebino, Baumia closing gap between the last 6 months, research now money for a year, Now Baumia closing gap now manaba single digits. The last one a money they buy and not that 1%, just 1% lead na Mahama walk over Baumia. And 6 months is a long time in politics. Kobusta Obedata Mobetro. Yeah, Dr. Obedasama. Or politics, more being power politics. Dr. Obedasama count. If you ask somebody like Dr. Obedasama, say 1 week in politics, 1 week, a better change be our elections. So don't sit there. And it goes for both NDC and goes for both NPP. It goes for because parties in Ketwanona, so push, but even Alan Accra, Shannon saying. Shenanigans are shenanigans. Even look at this mafia taxes here, NPP for the coaching hopes na do. I thought it was needless. Because hopes in class are baby fans more. As much as me jitum say, as my hopes in kind was wrong. It was reckless. Because Kokan say I could dynamite a book. And why are you telling us now? What you are saying? Yes, I now question say I don't know hopes in can. And you may be on my own, you may not find. And don't say certain things at certain times. It makes even Adiana all kind of cry, correct to cry now, mother, be wrong. In any case, say no cry. What shows some power? Yes, and yes, as here. Not a necessary of limitations. And I'm no period. Say Bonibisia, you bet me the work of court. And your period be on my part one. Yet to me found court, a friend statute of limitations. So statute of limitations and running, and I just say, hopes you'll be better made already after coin so. But that is beside the point. My issue is that NPP and never be one of my winning so hopes you're more munipa. Never be one maybe or hand and no can be a mokoye, mafia be or but hand and no can. Don't go and arrest him near because you know the person and you know his capabilities. When him said it panel to me or betting I be said, and any extravagantly negative and extravagantly dangerous. When him so hopes him, but when him so hopes him, on your piano, oh, why, bear moth. Pass hopes him back, I say, and pass all the BB dynamite go ye be no. If you want to go BB go baby, a bear for, but pass obey BB a bit deal, hopes he will not do that. What I say, Uber cockot in the Rambo style, Nipo near Mano. At this time, I'm more primuti. There's just 1%. 1% between Mahama, as much as more, just even as in terms of say the diversionary taxes, you do not need this kind of taxes. Who here taxes be a bit diverting attention from what you are doing, which is that a campaign period no more 6 months to election. Alan you know what for MPP more. Try to move MPP. Mahama is leading you at the post. Mahama is leading at the post. This is not a time. I was a Ukoya Bibia. Munja hopes in honor or no be or no be some can a true and not saying true, no be who say true and not say true. They can decide for themselves. Baba Koko be been one man mileage, and not hopes he cannot wait a glory. A glory and other man no. So what you say? That's another thing altogether. And see, election dynamics here very critical. I want to go and share numbers now. Who bet now, Sam, or the other bet now social media attempts are what it was now you to say 2016 the NDC. And that's what happened to a lot of NDC supporters. It's in a real no money bread. Have a media for social media for any area elections. There's nothing like stealing. So stealing for elections, man. NDC and NPP, they know very much where the stealing happens. Media for credit. Media for cover elections are you cover the polling stations, you really have collation centers. The kind of mafia. They say they are not hope seekers. Some mafia man. The media people will not know. Media unless you are close to somebody in the media, no one will say, oh, where they are way more because they know say media for one. You will go and say it. Yeah, I'm not your meka. We'll go and say it. We'll even make allusion to it. See, Ambubodi will make allusion to the fact that Obi a plan be say obey. What you say? They know say a lot of these dangerous things, dangerous niema omoye ni sumaseno. both NDC and NPP, who are the key stakeholders in Ghana general elections, no, they know, say the media people, we don't know how we are elections. In fact, engine room, a room no crowd, electoral commission, no media for shut down New those days, and another media for about Kanoma Pamoye, because it drew on my master 10 engine room. No. 2004, I was reporting, was it 2004? No, I think that was 2008. 2008, I'm reporting NDC headquarters, NPP headquarters, the electoral commission strong room. 3 areas where my designated areas and I'm a bosses, or my assignment is me near Jumaho. So I know what goes on there. If you are no person, you'll be interview, could be a few. Nipa swear shit. They are looking at the numbers as the facts is coming on party niba kubehu. A drew one of my NDC near the copy, NPP near the copy. They are checking the numbers before a number ni bedrew on or corresponding with the constituency executive. It's a faxima is strong room one or corresponding and also numbers here correct. Okay, wait, and son or ma approve it. Grown. And unfortunately, what I am say, party company for they don't explain these serious issues on the ground to party full soldiers. They don't explain to them. If the party full soldiers need lose na media for media need be a look at the numbers. Media for and na media for create more strong room. We don't even have access to the pink sheets as they come in. Pink sheets never a party for party agents or more strong room. In the polling station, pink sheet ni ba party agents want to form more first. Media for area ni ekodi kokonsa. It doesn't come to any media person. And before pink sheet on be faction on be banner, not party agent for sign it. The all protesters on sign and no we check picture the copy. A common party headquarters, party regional constituency original constituency. They all have a copy. There is no way a media ni bia can interfere with results. Never. And this is what it said. Don't get us. It is deep, it's broad, that you understand the issues critically and broadly, so that another will be grant to me medada. What's to me kodada will be because you know where the issues are coming from. And I only baby a great areas will be better me we are no. It's all party no when near dear. What do you call her? It would him say party agents no call no probeda. Back up a man. Because why you won't watch man out generally, why you saw that one hour monitor, Massa Bibi because why you are and your media. It has nothing to do with media. What's the humanity about Bebreno because of lack of education and lack of knowledge in Tino? Or that's someone man or they're done at or social media, not understanding, not educating themselves properly about the lecture process. Into a big canton, a small media anywhere, no, so the young media for no. Hey, I'm poor one day. So we change the results. What will elections are results as a sada? Because even election petition in 2012. No matter all the NPP 4 years when the Supreme Court spoke, said Mahama winning. The conclusion was Mahama winning. We actually in 2016 when the court concluded, say NPP 4 winning. NPP won, another won. There was nothing anybody could do. 85 thought that them did not focus on issues a bit me I'm winning election. I can say any deputy director of communication trying to join a very soon Akugan and a program to look at NDC vision here. But let me play to you. They said and then I'll take you to the regions. Show you regions NDC winning, you know. Now we have people here. Now I start to as you home because I'm growing in the form. You know be dead, you know be noise. It no be rather no. It no be a zoo exact now. A Juma obey no ground. A Juma obey no ground. Now read your text messages in answer to you. Ne a demode bano enina. Mameda Pano, see if you are no saddle, Mameda, I think we have resolved that issue. So thank you very much for drawing my attention. God for that, Santino, see if you can't hear you, Pacho. I'll fix it. Thank you all so much. You show some very concerned. Julia Chumo, thank you so much. Fuseni, also if you all sound about Fuseni, thank you, Munina. Appreciate all of you. What Godfrey, also Bonsuno, see if you are never chow. Time soon, but I'm still here greeting you. Raphael and Ketiano, good evening to the next president, Dr. Baomi and Pacho. Kogram Nakoya Juma. The man said this and the message in Chacha party for Kogram Nakoya Juma. Listen to the same Ketiasim way.
Because we are already convinced that we are there. A lot of people have begun taking positions and fighting over who will be what in the next government. Indeed, some people are not only fighting about the positions they will occupy, they are telling all others that they will be the kingmakers and they will be making their appointments. If we are not careful, this will dampen the enthusiasm and the spirit of our followers. So I want to assure everybody that we are not there yet. Don't be fighting about positions. And don't be struggling about who will make appointments. Let us all go for the hunting first, and when we kill the game, we now argue about how to share the meat.
Wow.
Finally.
As I'm telling you, see, let's go for the hunting first. Wisdom no canon. Young quiet Jumani, we are. And Sana, Yababa teacher positions now, yeah, penal. Because we party because of the system that we run. You're running winner takes all. Winner takes all. And it's a 1 year NDC near. 1 year NDC power 2025, I win your position. 1 year NPP near about me about power 2025, I win your position. And that is why Ababe say, Nano Yane. NPP for chairperson, I think US or by she was talking about the kind of democratic process here running. We not takes on him because NDC when you answer for my bing. They say don't get near their home. NPP when you answer for my bing. I'll bet me a some kind of united or union government to be a party be about power. Go bet me a selecting from different parts. And no my duma and any problem. But the way I tell you, say, Mama, I'm power and about me, I'm power, non cassette. Or before be from CPP near there, you see the same party full soldiers who always complain about politics. The same people on the air brand on away no on kind. But we say politics no a gun and a year church. It shouldn't matter, baby, and could be free. As long as Nippon a Ghanaian, I want you send him do bet me a bow man and cause any pan Johnny a man or bow man. But the way I hear winner takes on. Obi fi abrochire kra na oba ese ana wo free him na ye bre na wo he na wo de ya bin ba mo party for the NDC ni NPP this week ya omo nyina announce ba omi ane na US to Canada e koye fundraising ko pesika Mahama ne nkrofo enam Europe omo so koye fundraising ko pesika bekboa e ko pese mo ko pe euros no dollar ababoa de a omo nyina ana o makwa ko disika wa abrochire for no ho be true say nimdi aba party aba power aba Omunyina for omunyansa ni nimdia na omakotena brocha ko ebi makwakoye neuroscientists ebi doctors ebi nurses ebi engineers ebi IT professionals omudi omunimdia ne bebo apom say ebi ni jache question asem ya akokot ya besine another issue I think be a Ghana bedru no is completely needless say be a Ghana accord we are still fighting over citizenship meanwhile the same Ghana koya Steve Wonder so be Ghana ni India. A whole chief justice Jinawa sworn in to take Ghanaian citizenship. Social media ni Ghanaian citizens are clapping, sharing Steve Wonder. Yes, what Ghanaian is now a Ghanaian. We are happy. But who near Ghanaian is Canadian citizen? Compared now Canadian citizen before Ubenya Busa question bro Brian Sanonia. Bra Brian Sanonia ho. A Juma why your taxes are what you know. Near my go on my show my busian for. Nipa na konya nimdia na nyansa wo ho o de beboa o se nipa no na parliament and you see onko di now it's completely bogus. I think sa law ne de ebra so say o se esesa because obi be ye Ghana ni no baby factory a ye mbusa ne say wo nye Ghana citizen bi Ghana for wa broche ni ade o mo be ye factories na China for crowd they to gold we don't ask them about citizens. China for any idea to go to Ghana. Nobody's demanding that Omunji Ghanaian citizenship and San to go to no. But when you Ghana and put another country's citizenship, no about the wow on what in abroad you were Johnny. The check say Johnny dollar no. Say me about the wow Ghana. Obiti a double second year the son of Papa who will jail. A lot of you are useless. In fact, there are several parts of your constitution are completely useless. I was a yifri hokra. Nyanse bien. You can have a Ghanaian. If I took a US Congress or senator, there are a lot of Ghana who are naturalized Americans or more USA Congress or more Juma. US Congress or more Ghana but naturalized as Americans until they are there working. Ghana kwa de wokonya nyansa no wo de beboa yesi de bi wonya Ghana ni enya Ghana ni ukuta another country citizenship ndi ko denounce ansa se ukuta sa country no kwa citizenship na ukuta Ghana de kwa ti de bi fa omo passport come on what are the sovereignty any passport mo so bi kuta Ghana passport no so obey Ghana bro in fact over the last couple of years omo dig Ghana sika no omo kuta Ghana passport they are full-blooded Ghanaians but they are all chopping our money. Full-blooded Ghanaians, kuta nationality they are Ghanaians, but they are still chopping our money. Yes, Gasha, one will be kuta another country citizenship. Ghana is Gasha. It is the same full-blooded Ghanaians. Kuta full Ghana passport. Kuta Omambia passport. Nedi yesikano. But what the Adam say will be by your factory crowd or my debi. This is kuta Ghana passport. A completely useless law. Law, Benjamin Bray law. We do not need that law. And yet, Parliament, funny again, we don't have the boss to say that you use our law on the floor. Let's repeal the law. Near law about boy and fast wabeba. Yan near me here, and yan near my own necessary. That's this and running the Katakana, the new issue back. And then I see Freemason for trendy and no two funny kanda palmony and this near NPP from penny for say we were Freemason ever. Yes, freedom of worship. Agrada no bibeko, obeche janyo, obecha ponchon, obecha niyo, obecha die ndio, obe run hu naked you, obe frank to mo, or just say, do obe kotu, do obe muni, so sit in a religion no one. I know if I have been. And what they commenting about Freemason for me, and you go to see as Gasha, 32 years a year Gasha, yet they see one factory crank and your boys in your word more. At the boys were do more, and yes, and boy says she. Last week, Obiako shit. We in quantity had now got 10 years. We one road joint back or them 10 years. And young question. We are legalizing or Holland. You legalizing or America because on my research upon research, I said we know and Fabi we know crowd of medicinal properties. Ghana and quantity sebi Benjamin I don't know. Nema here. It's on here and a Freemason when they join it. Maybe I'll be a sicko. Me minimum, but mass and family. Yes, so grandma count and mamma can join it. Or mass and family home day. Because Freemason beyond the fact and the Ghana as Gasha. Yes, as Gasha, we are paying as Gasha to NDC and NPP over the last 32 years. I come the boys. Yeah, this as Gasha CK crack or here, or can answer the Uber crown, the Yama boys, and I say, what can pay? Would you only Duma? Would your firework campaign never chase can cram and buying back? I can imagine the number of boys and communion many top money. Guess your money on Maui and convenience can be a koto coquaman colleague. By at 1 year cocoa bina will be a fine year home. Let's focus on issues about Boama Ghana Konenim. So let me take you to elections on the issues. A year first, let me show you the regions. Okay, Mamiani can say so that you understand what is going on. Look at the regions NDC winning here. Look at the regions NDC winning here. So that your party here. You understand? You have grown a year. I did be one man watching here. Maybe I said, oh, the regions they were green. They are green in NDC. NDC won all those regions. They are green in let me take you to those regions. Very interesting enough. Half a region. NPP 4 we need with 51%. I have a region. Look at the numbers. One. See, I'm zooming on my NKC. I have a region. NDC won, NPP 1.5 region with 55.1%. Who your party full soldier? Are you watching? Are you paying attention? When you baby, I'll be calling rough now. The opening idea now. Before baby can't be any make sure say why your homework. You know what is going on. I have a region. No. This is a half a region. And NPP won 51.5% of the total vote. JD and Mahama was only Mahama 50%, but this is a half a region. Baby, I'm can confirm baby. You almost say what the NDC. NDC cry strong in a half, but NDC made only 44.2% in a half. They could not even cross over. 50%. Into what we have full soldier now. Who are half a region? This is the time one. Oh yeah, party a Juma sa what they a subusa. This is the time we go door to door. Corner be Juma party. This is the time that you have to work for your party. I have a region, no. 50% to NDC nya. I have a region. Asante region. NPP nya almighty. NPP nya 71. Again, I don't see a problem at NPP. Because Ashanti region no cry even with the Juma NPP for claiming say 2020 no my impono. If they were able to make only 71% though, NDC came NDC votes our Ashanti region increased 26.1%. So we NPP now we full soldiers so Ashanti region. This is the time. I was we increasing vote for up to 80%. So the total number of voters obey neutralizing vote to not be losing Greater Accra region because my that say Greater Accra region. I'll show you the 2020 elections. So NPP lost in Greater Accra region. This is Greater Accra region. If you see 48%. It is a Baumia person winning. They have to make as much as 80% in Ashanti region. 80% in Ashanti region. And yes, sir, total vote now person won't second. One shot unya because Greater Accra region I likely say more votes back could do NDC side because before they go Greater Accra region, $1 affect you go Greater Accra region. What I say? Go Greater Accra region. So Ashanti region, NDC 26%. No, if NDC also wants to make any showing in elections now, they need to increase their vote in Ashanti region from 26% to at least 30%. Even if I want to make the cut 30%, NDC will be home and dry because 4% no the baba Ashanti region they bet me neutralize it vote now NPP for Benya in other areas. So for instance I have a bet me neutralize it. What I say a bet me neutralizing Ashanti have Bono region Bono region and very interesting in Bono region. President Mahama who said a for Bono but Bono region NPP won in Bono region. That shows you the level of work but see 4 years as I become NPP for ratings they dropping. This is an advantage for NDC. But here, even NPP for winning 58%. Look at the margin between NPP and NDC. NDC and 40%. Over 18% and the NDC near NPP in them. So Bono region there, NPP will win again. It's not likely say NDC Benya. 18%. We are there to mention Bono region. NPP West in Bono region. NDC is not likely to get Bono region. NPP will take it again because 18% is too big a margin. What I say? Let me take you to Bono East. Bono East. NDC for Bono East. 54%, 54.7%. So technically it's 55%. I will approximate 55% NDC the win here in Bono East. Bono East, no. NPP managed to get only 44%. I want a big margin. You have a margin of about 10% between NDC and NPP. In the Bono East, so I likely said this 2024 elections, NDC best for Bono East. Again, President Mahama and the precise area. So I think Bono East near baby and Poma, because President Mahama and the Lord in Mahama from Poma and Poma Bono East. When we are doing NDC so strong in Bono East, but I have any first Bono East, Bono region there, NPP never fat. Margin a too big NDC to me close the gap. NDC to close the gap there. But Bono East NDC will win again. NDC will win again in Bono East. NDC will win again in Bono East. Central region, even with Professor Jenano Pokwa, President Akufo-Addo winning 52.7%. Look at the margin between NDC and NPP in Central region. 52.7%. What approximately is about 53%. Against NDC 45%. And if you look at the difference between them, you have about 7-8% between NDC and NPP. And how the NDC can close the gap? Say Professor Jenano Pokwa say, see our man launching, our man Doria, or Medina Bar Bontiamo Bia when he say she is the bona fide running mate. She is working. Still, no, after Professor Jenano Pokwa my Jumano Crame, also voter registration as I will show. If you look at campaign of Professor Jenano Pokwa my Yama NDC in 2000 against campaign Awaya this election, she's working. But I think she can do more. If she doesn't do more, margin number close in the building. But if she's able to do more, because of course 6 months is a long time, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the campaign. If they're able to push Professor Jenaro Pokwadman, any NDC for a free central region, because first, not the force allocated cops can do damage because they say allocated cops or Baomia camp on the can play one hide or so another or yeah, Jumanama. Allocated cops. That shows you the rift and what NDC. Of course, NDC even before Moko Prime Minister President Mahama the winning, after NDC are sidelining some of the fancies maybe were NDC. especially Western region. Dr. Dufuechi, I wish send NDC be our homework. No, not President Mahama personally, because I know President Mahama, no, onim enemies as a mono, be on your nipa, probate me afro phone. So I think President Mahama should pick a phone and call all the Dr. Dufuechi, Kojo Bonsunum phone to come and fully join his campaign. And yes, as I do in the central region and western regions. I don't know. All these people have been sidelined. Solomon Cancer very key in western region sideline. So there are some people they are pushing themselves to be in the forefront of NDC, but all those people have been sidelined in NDC. President Mahama must personally reach out to them. And to be a person of sabotage, I don't allow them to sabotage you. Personally reach out to all these people who have been sidelined in NDC and bring them back into the fold to help you. Because you can't tell me say Obiti of fire boatinja on him elections. Into granted say be election there some time ago a mistake be you can't use it against him. It is the same people who are behind the election process. The same people who are the strategic people. No, they are the same people who make mistakes along the line. But you don't punish them for their mistakes. You bring them back and work for the total good of a party. Because after all, the power. 2012 now. He knew Salan Chamanti said them feeling. Alan Chamanti fee President Kufuor camp. President Kufuor knew it, but on himself. So person never want to party or so the Alan Chamanti ban. At least he must make it look like Alan Chamanti and now we are united force. And that is what he did. Leonardo I say, oh, Leonardo do your journey. He put his pride aside. Their major rally or la trade fair. Oh, no, announces Alan Chamanti there. Oba Opewompo, trade minister and they were dear. It was very strategic for Nanado to bring Alan Chamanti back and make it look like one. What I said, so that they can together portray that and invoke the vote. And for them, that's how they won the 2016 elections. And to President Mahama, the same strategy now Nanado it goes to you. They may have stepped on your toes. You need to reach out to them to bring them. And because look at central region, you need everybody fighting in there or party ma obeti me influence vote. Any idea bring them on board. And that's why I like now here how mo party no me ma Professor J na no pokajman and go for be a propaganda no me ade so and on person mo agenda against Mahama me no kre. President Mahama knew say bringing J na no pokajman or the fancy caucus ni na adom beba. Because Professor Hoy no kwame na Hoy he needs them. Central region vote here critical. You have about 78% between NDC and NPP. Even Professor Jenano Pokwa, they couldn't close the gap. For 2024 election, NDC cannot afford not to close this gap. They need to close the gap and win. And Central region, there are swing seats, so I cannot predict Central region who will win. I cannot predict Central region who will win. 8%, you know, looking like a small, but a small. It's not easy to close the gap, sir. Because Central region for so region, food soldiers, parties and the answer. Central region for they vote based on issues. Obey away and obey away. Then now the Bemo. What are you promising them? What can you deliver? That is what Central region is going to vote on. And if you look at Accra, Baomiayan was Central region now. Groundwork. The issues is promising them as AstroTurf near Adomoye no say bogus AstroTurf now moye. Now more quality AstroTurf. Baumia can be dangerous to NDC in Central region. He can be very dangerous to NDC in Central region. So don't joke, don't let anybody deceive you. Central region yet done this, and yet done deal Accra between NDC and NPP. And yet done deal. That Central region is still a blue region, it's a blue state. It's not green. Central region is still blue to NPP. Eastern region still a MPP for there 60% last election, you know. Accra technically approximately 61% of the vote. Central region, Eastern region even with Adanfour, because we have a big population of Adanfour, Krobofour, Dangbefour, Bebre, Eastern region or more. All those people need unity, you know. Still, Eastern region, vote to my friend Nanado, MPP for win. A whooping 60%. In fact, total vote MPP for Eastern region, and more than vote to Central region. It's a combination of Nanado and Chim Caucus. And then a combination of the other people no more actually again, even at dang phone dang before no more cananado yere or the dang you or a gandang. It's a hustle gadak before you so munia ban ban wo isi read omunya to man nanado. Omunya ba kunune nanado jombeto and they voted. And now no many poor what analysis the chairman say Ghana tribal issues to play a role in your politics. And yes, who say region be or vote him or for region be also vote him or for. And it's a party pornocrat selected a parliamentary candidate are usually use for religion, any type, they play a role in Africa politics. And Ghana Africa politics not generally religion. Religion, they play a role, so that is Eastern region. Imagine a big. It's likely said this election, Baumia Bessa winning with Eastern region because Nanado ne winning here with Eastern region there, but being that Baumia is a Nanado prodigy and Nanado an NPP candidate, so still NPP win in Eastern region. How they can predict without fear and favor. Eastern region NPP will win again in look at the margin between a EFSA. Look at the margin between NPP and it's like half 38% against 61%. Whatever 37% against 61. There is no way in heaven or hell. And NDC better make closing margin in Eastern region. No way. NDC can never close that margin in. And you say not, but can never close that margin in Eastern region. Eastern region, 30% of the vote. And people will still take Eastern region. It's still a blue region. Yambra Greater Accra region. And Greater Accra region here Parachik, you know. Look at the biggest numbers. Makacham that a Greater Accra region population in Kuala included no about 5.7 million. 5.7 million according to statistical service. And this is 51% of the total vote. Suspect. Shady. And this in Kwan, they have a total of 51% of the total vote in Greater Accra region. 51% in Greater Accra region. Tinya a first Abrokra in Greater Accra region. Would you gonna want say Greater Accra region there? What we know we Agbena, but you say a form no. This is the region now. Professor Professor Makokwe. I now no reference Agbena. ICQ can never come back again and say Agbena. Our Greater Accra region. No, it's not the same Agbena of 2016. This is a different region. Regional swing it. Akodi NDC. There's nothing you can do. Regional swing it. These are the people These are the people so Greater Accra region. So, but margin still a big kakra, a big, and I would be afraid. Greater Accra region. No, this is the region. This is the region. Will be a Greater Accra is a corruption scandal. Greater Accra region, better face because a Greater Accra, everybody has access to social media. Everybody has access to radio and television. Everybody has access to newspaper. Everybody has access to information more. Our Greater Accra region. In the Greater Accra region, we are informed. Greater Accra region, so propaganda so very effective. Whether both NDC and NPP now also propaganda so effective. Greater Accra region, there issues with brain influencing vote. And if you look at the margin between NDC and NPP, it will be 51% against 48. Technically, you have 3% to pay. Regional swing it. Even with many predictions, NPP 4 can lose the region again in this election. NPP can win, but it doesn't look good with dollar no inflation. Because Greater Accra because the drone year 24 buying and selling. Yeah, company again you bush for what other regions that didn't know. It's a system now. Such inflation numbers not change. Se bibi asesa se dollar CD interest rates not change. Prime rate and change. I want you change. Niama change. Security situation and change. With Greater Accra region. Not say MPP again will lose Greater Accra region. But so many changes slightly. I have 3% to poll. 3% MPP can come and win. And the Greater Accra region, NDC, answer NDC. Any MPP full soldiers say baby no more did attempt no matter. Who did that? I will say one who say data. Don't worry yourself. You are spoiling your data because 3% to pay. It can go anybody's ways. It's a Greater Accra region and the strategy for NDC and NPP is especially for NDC. The strategy for NDC is look for areas. NDC betting you winning. Areas are more typical NPP for. Areas are floating voters or target or because if you're able to convert greater carriage in floating voters to NDC can win. And NDC can increase the margin. No increasing margin, NDC a comfortable lead. It is NPP vote airport to me when it central region BMA or meeting you should total vote no Benya or greater carriage in the neutralize the central region. And that is why greater carriage is very key to NDC. Very key. Don't joke in NDC. Don't joke. Or greater carriage. NSB, I wouldn't say problem kakao on by now. And cause NDC for double up on my moya no domiko abenya. Wouldn't say domiko abenya, you don't win it, but you can convert a year first as sympathizers no more honor. Oh, you can convert in Kofuno Moja Adwasafono, and Kofuno Moja Professor Michael Queno, and Kofuna Yenyo Mokwino, and Kofuno Moja businesses near the end, you can convert all of them to come and vote for NDC. And then you can increase your margin from 51% to at least 52, 53, 54%. Now what NPP because unyasa 4-5% no. And then you say so. But no that they are a son of 50 plus 1. Greater carriage is danger zone. Yanko northeast, and why NPP? What they about me factor no? Northeast, you can clearly see that about me and more moving here. And can you about me? And can people who bet you more? And you about me a greater northeast and can baba. But because of Baomianti, they got great a year first and northeast 51% for against NDC 47%. Again, I also imagine you close by your close biasa because you have about 4% difference, 4-5% difference. NDC for push here, but any easy sir because I want northeast. Say NDC candidate or your northerner, NPP candidate or your northerner integrate a northeast. I likely say I want it. Baumia Sanji and now say on best split 50-50. Anybody's game because I want to Obi Tom and Nipa from Northern Extraction. This is the first time, man. NDC MPP Obi Kuta Obi of Northern Region, Northern Extraction and Ojina. It is a very solid pass. Vote no bet me follow the same party in you. 51.4% against NDC 47%. It is a bit Mahama bet me more work there. Some Mahama Naka sent to me party for Nibia. That is why I know and maybe yes I reach for NDC for year or parliament. There me say as ya target how they do sumo because how they do sumo you can use them in these areas. Northeast. This is why how they do sumo politicians don't want NDC northern region. No, I want to watch some do no baby, Mahama ye gwa no mo so bomb manetete because anyata e dey also 4% this but I know so ye 4% who percentage e be say so about ebodu Baumia is not sleeping. Ocean no Baumia caught Techima. She said they nan kwanse a butcher house or that me say woman you almost can shoot from Tesse. See one is a Baumia Yomunia Baumia baby. The fact that Baumia Cremoni, most of those Muslims think in Abatoma Baumia. And found so NDC. The Muslims will vote Baumia. That is my reading. The Muslims will vote for Baumia. And Baumia is trying to work his way with the Christians. And the Baumia trick now all you know. We NDC, you must study it. Muslim for number 2 Baumia no more for money inflation as a exchange rate. Almost no nipa be we no benya historical first Muslim one. Obaba that's not because I think Lima no a Christian. So mubenya year friends Baumia Emma Baumia beba no. This is what they appreciate. What I say? And you know 1 year Jumani ye now koda. Wasubi ye be Accra no be you know. Northern region also a year friends NDC ekuta northern region. It's likely that northern region will follow the same format. Because the difference is big, 7%. About even 8% to crowd, we approximation about 8% between NDC and NPP. Northern region, about 8%. It's not likely NPP betting me close to Gabon. It's not likely NPP betting me close to Gabon. But I know there also will depend on the kind of worker or more because again, also northern region, most people are Christians and Muslims. Muslims in the also northern region. So to me, you saw more of the Muslim, you know, the year Juma is likely say. And Cremophone better man. And either Baumia will increase his margin now one northern region to about maybe 50% or 48%. But say Baumia bet me winning the world. I'm not too sure about my forecast or my prediction in the northern region. So I will leave that. But what they are chimpe between Baumia and Mahama. Come in our region, no. Very much of chimpe. The same goes for OT region. OT region and NDC near MPP and also be followed because 62% for NDC, 35% for MPP. MPP can never win OT. MPP can never win OT region because this margin where this is even on the back of creation of new regions. Oh, I'm not creating new region, I'm OT region, but so much to be winning. They won't win. MPP can never win OT region unless Magic BC. Never. They can't win OT region. I come Mahama region, Savannah region. I want Mahama free. Bole. I was Savannah region. Ufi sola tuna kaba drive kakra uko president Mahama kruma bole. Savannah region. 35%, 35.2% for Baumia, 63.0% for Mahama. And MPP can never close the gap. Because I am Mahama home region. What the Mahama see on your crash, so Mahama will win. Baumia so a Cremoni crash, so Mahama will win. There is no way in hell or heaven. I bet change. If anything, Mahama bet me increase gap in Savannah region and change that. Baumia can never take Savannah. No, ebi about me bet me close gap na kakra bi wo ho and no cry depending on strategy obe adopt wo ho but he can never take that region ti e ho no so ye Upper East region 34%, 35% against NDC 63%. Upper East region even with Baumia dynamics no has no change. If Bibi best say Baumia campaign message no be change but Baumia dynamics no or being a Muslim being the first person from first Cremonia or lead MPP no. Why are you not first Cremoni or lead MPP? But presidential candidate, the only Cremoni because Ali Mahama no a Cremoni there, but he wasn't a year obey. Akuga, I want to banana. Okay, now Akuga, nebo backman, Bible. Maybe I join very soon. I may try Akuga now. You are about church and say money. I didn't. Two person to link to know. Bet me I join here. Share your views on what you think about who you vote for because I think Akugan, I don't know if you are not a network no NIS so he's not able to join us. Yabema will be actually here. Who will you vote for? Because where your figures, where your results, more vote. So when they will be able to make us if you are no crowd, this is more vote now vote here. This is exactly what your vote has turned out to be. Upper East region 34% against NDC 63%. MPP to me close gap no because Baomiane gap no it hasn't changed. Baomiani and change yes. Send another Baomiati the same thing and or the horses here. Nothing has changed there. Oh, the anchor baby to say Western Upper West. So the NDC we know the Agbena Accra for NDC. How the Agbena for NDC 67% for Yakakra. Okay, I'm at 67% against MPP about 30%. Agbena MPP cannot win. MPP cannot win in Upper West region. In the MPP, but I don't think MPP even wants to win in Upper West. They are MPP and now about me region, but Upper West no, and you about me and 30% no can MPP omunya. So what MPP will do in Upper West region is just to increase area. Baumia factor normally be increase kakra based on the number of people on the register or can vote. That is why voter registration exercise were critical. No, voter registration exercise were critical because kakra no be gumuno. The new Nkolano already 18 years on joining the voter population, and on a bet me access MPP for bet me increase 30% to maybe say 35% approximately, or maybe 37%. I hear so 37% about me. I bet me there could do Upper West region because I in the region. I hear so 37, but MPP can never win Upper West region. This margin 67 against 30, Baumia will increase the region, but increase in the increase will help them to aggregate a national 51% now presidential vote, no. But parliamentary seat they omuntu minya it was our region. But some of the cities say Gushegu for the first time MPP won in Gushegu. About me to no winning Gushegu. Kenya don't bet me winning. Voter region NDC World Bank 84%, 85 approximately 85% World Bank papa. And this is the difference between a voter region and Ashanti region. You call Ashanti region someone who vote a Ashanti region. MPP for 80% or 80% in Ashanti region. But look, NDC is making 85% in Ashanti region. In Ashanti region, NDC is making 85, poly 85. But you see, what should the percentage? Without nothing. What should the percentage of voter region? Without nothing. Because 85% in our voter region and do 5% of total vote in Ashanti region. And can we take? So look at the nominal numbers. Now your calculation, because 84% there what a voter region for NDC no. Would they do Ashanti region? Ashanti region, the man no man sanka. And that's how many get a car region crash account. And you study. Don't be excited about voter rate. The population and but it also depends on this year election registration, because for all you know, this voter registration exercise, the Electoral Commission extending it 2 days. So NDC to me register more people. Maybe 18 years, more people back a baby number more in cost, but I know our cost numbers because we already know the statistics now. Statistical service natural. You can never register more people than the population. Can you ever choose straight? The statistical service register census no my no. Who dada nipa do our region bia. Into your party grand person we Ashanti region, who we more voter region. You cannot remove more than the total population there. You bet. If you done here to Abana Massa, a grab a bay or say in the a bay or say movie, a bay or say Ching Chang Room movie, no share. You cannot remove more than the total number of votes in the area because we have number of population. So that is voter region. NPP only managed to get 14.1. 14.1 okay, because of Amewu. This election way Amewu ni tikika. Amewu ni tikika because for the last 4 years NPP Amewu adakra. Me madam for no ba Amewu ada. Nti medical anyum no boy no omada. I was saying they have Amewu slogan says yeah Amewu. He has been in bed 4 years of from 2020 election to 2024 no Amewu is asleep. What that cry? He's in comatose. He's asleep. Ya did that no cry. Amewu. Say na ye hu Amewu. Some know what minerals lands near the end. Action the Amewu the aton. Enti ni take kan Hawaii. It's not and Hawaii NDC for city that. Amewu only won by default. Road the Kakrebinis chemists Kakrebin. They say our daddy Amewu will lose away. Vote in the Amewu is likely to lose the seat. Because Kobusa Kofi Jamesinum Adena, any papaya and say free Muyukra, KJB, ambassador to Saudi Arabia, and Omunamu ya went to me and winning. A question about former voter regional minister and the MPP, or try Comicro, one Biakuya conference went to me and winning. Amewu is the one who has created history in voter region, and the history is about to be eroded because he will lose the seat. Amewu the wada. I was saying I do not go say railway now within the condition come within the call. Because in trains, if I come want to me and find no branding on what to me the trains me and one still Amewu. He could not even use the emergence and the arrival of the trains. And this Juma Maya in railway sector, I know the MPP for MPP as you have to acknowledge the railway do my idea. Oma fire, Oma deliver railway kakra. Trains no cry a bobo ya train cry, Oma deliver be at least. I kakra sani ebeku me hold the railway dear. Oma ya dear kakra. What you say? My idea. But still I'm a weather. When to me I no crans and so that is a vote a first a voter rating for Western region MPP for there. MPP for there and say okay videos na me tell Western region I have for no kind no. I have no be brakodi ba o mi aside o. But Juma about me, I say, I'm Juna about me and I'm Hoko Quasin about me and Mahama has to double up because vote margin about 5%. Mahama, because Western North near the NDC seat too. Okay, Western North near NDC still is NDC seat. Western region that they not Takra, they want a year Nimhono. Takra de for near the Oyo, they Takra for MPP for. You can't change them from a year first a one bosom Chesamonum. Gladys Asmanum, any idea in ABC and the so Jogate no idea in a silla, but a home and NDC managed to close the gap, which should be a threat to MPP for. MPP for a serious Western region. First, thank NDC, but anywhere about in Western region, but NDC has closed the gap in Western region. There's just 5% difference between NDC and MPP. And the Western region, if it falls to NDC 2024, I won't be surprised. Because the big store was no more and MPP, they are not going again. Jogate no more kobio. Papa also come at the Akotana landing. On shada and find your BBA or they boy Western region phobia. Western region MPP buy in so Uba from our boss to Takra near the acquire money in a still I want acquire money go Western region for Western region for shadow who so development Papa Biasa. What I say? And one double up. Some second term where MPP man double up a Western region the NDC budget. NDC will take them. They will take Western region simple. MPP must set up in Western region because those days not Gladys has my money at the hour. Even Jogate Mokra bad game no Western region no. Hey, now Western region, the margin between NDC and NPP quite 60-20. NDC a closing gap. And now NDC has been working in Western region. NPP has been sleeping. Complacency. A trimude journey of a person. And you are the entitled. Someone who agree in the Western region. What is you? Man who agree in the Western region. Western region is almost falling. NDC will take Western region the next election. If they take it, I won't be surprised. Just 4%. They are likely to take it in Western region. Western North, all the NDC that. Enti, say a campaign about Omiaya or Hono, and a bit me changing your Accra. But the margin is big. You have about 8% or more. Anything can happen in Western North, no. But it's more easy for NDC to retain their dominance in Western region than for NPP to get it. But Baumia is doing a lot of work in Western region. He's not joking. He's doing a lot of work in Western region. But the last time I checked, Baumia is gaining grounds in Western North. Into the NDC now the offer is an Baumia and Uncle Baby and Baumia was so beshi. Don't take Baumia for granted in Western North. I am for the Penasem or I am for the Penasem or that is Western North. No. The margin no 8%. It is not likely. In total, the whole Ghana 2020 elections, no, the margin between NDC and NPP was so wide. 51%, 47%. That's why I'm confident. And I'm here about to now. I'm here, Mr. One area about to Obi, we are about to my margin. When I want your party for Sojana, Yasuma also could not police state now. Now I'm a woody enemy. Where were you? Obi, we are about to my plus minus 001 minus 00. You know, movie. Obi, to be look at the margin 47.2% for NDC, 51.2%. Look at the margin between NDC and NPP. Yeah, you know, Nejai say accusing Kofono. 1 year, you might was so crab game. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like for a this is our about when a strategy, a game. You have to understand the numbers and do it accordingly instead of obey BB. I bet me. How no? Obani Mama, good evening, Akwaba.
Yeah, good evening, Via.
Who movement for change?
Yes, I want more.
I want a movement for change.
Yes.
Afra
yes, Afra.
Okay.
The conversation I am NDC MPP, but this election
because in the topic and because of the topic, and that was supposed to be NDC 4 days. Because last 2 weeks, but last 2 weeks we did Afra. The whole day was for hosting our day.
Yeah. I was on the show. I was on the show.
You were on the show, okay. So
yes, but
but he couldn't come to NDC has forfeited the, But who do you think there?
In your conversation, it could be very important that the factors that are going to determine the elections, you mentioned religious factor.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned ethnic factor. In fact, economy will also play a role in the election. And also the candidates, Nankasa, ne credibility, ne competence, ne character will also play a role in the election. So we are going to have a very interesting election, or come December 7th. But on the religious factor, now I want to give you an example of what religion can do in politics. Let me take you to a constituency in Central Region, Ejumaku Enyan. Yes, Ejumaku Enyan Esiam constituency. Something happened, and for me, it could be a microcosm of what could happen in the next election. Atoforsen constituency national American. Atoforsen 2008 now only for the first time over parliament. OBT MPP candidate at the time, with a difference of 2,800. Then 2012, Atoforsen once again won OBT MPP with a difference of 3,200. So it was 2,900, 3,200. And 2016, Atoforsen once again beats the candidate with a difference of 3,600. Okay, so 2,900, 3,200, 3,600. Now, in the last election,
by general control.
Yes. So in the last election, MPP put up a Muslim candidate against
a Christian.
Okay. And MPP, every big man in MPP was in Ejumaku. because it was a special agenda to get Atuforsen out.
Mm.
And every politician be there, the kind of Sika NPP say no Juma Kono once a bit in the history of politics in Ghana. But NDC realized that the election could turn against them, so they were pressing the religious button, and this is the results that came. If you are, I'm going back, 2,900, 2008, 3,200, 2012, 3,600, 2016. In the last election, Atuforsen beat that guy 11,000 difference.
The same Muslim what in the bay against a Christian.
Yes, that is the first time MPP put up a Muslim candidate in the constituency against Atuforsen.
Okay.
And the kind of campaign MPP did in the constituency, I mean, everybody thought the election was going to be either it's going to be tied or the guy.
So I'm understanding your point there. Muslim no what in the bay and put on my margin.
Yes, so 11,000 from 6,000, 3,600 to 11,000.
11,000.
So that's what I'm saying. That we are going to have a very interesting election, because you made a point today. The Muslims would want to see one of their own to occupy the highest office of the land. But the same goes with the Christians also.
They also want
yes, because these things you don't say it in public. You don't say it in public. People, some of this, because of the sensitivity or sensitive nature of these issues, people want to.
Oh, but is the reality of the numbers? You are looking at the numbers. This one is not. It's sensitive. You are looking at the numbers. Go polling station. In the or you're Christian, because when you are doing the registration, the data captures all that, whether you're a Christian or you're Muslim. In the data from Electoral Commission, they show you the population of every polling station, the number of Christians, the number of Muslims. Census report also shows you that too. So that one there.
Yes. So the point, if you're the point I'm making in there, already in Ankasano, if you listen to the vice president, in politics or now, he's playing both religious and ethnic politics. Recently, also the election is coming to the north. You can get it when it comes to the north. You should stay here 8 years instead of 4 years. So he's playing religious and ethnic politics. And I'm saying that if he continues on that tangent, because the numbers don't favor him, if he continues on that tangent, religious and ethnic politics, is going to hit him hard, because the numbers don't favor him when it comes to those political two factors, and especially on the economy. If you consider what has happened, especially with the CD, and the fact that the CD issue is directly linked to him, and nobody can take it away. When you mention depreciation of the currency, the only name that comes up in Ghana is Alhaji Bawumia. And if you look at how the CD is depreciating, and even the fact that, in spite of the fact that in coupons, about 2 billion external coupons, we have not paid the IPPs about $1.53 billion, the IPPs, and all that, our city is still depreciating. So it's going to be very challenging, I mean, this coming election. So yes, the religious factor will play, the ethnic factor will play, the vice president himself has started doing that, the economic factor will certainly play, and the credibility, competence, and character of the candidate himself will also come to play. You said it today is NDC MPP, so I wouldn't want to talk much about my candidate. But if you look at all the factors,
I say our friend religion, it will play a role, and I don't doubt that because the numbers show that religion plays a very key role in elections.
Oh yeah, everywhere in the world.
It's true, because in America, for me, your friend, and I'm sorry, I'm America, so he knows this.
Even Obama, when Obama was first coming, because of the name Hussein in his name, the Republicans raised the red flag. There is a Muslim, so Obama had to issue his baptismal certificate. Oh no, I'm a Christian. But the point I'm making is that all these factors are going to play. And so
I agree, but the point, of course, I'm better Mubuso, because if you have a from 20 in relation to Allah, there's a Christian already in the race. Mahama is a Christian, all Assemblies of God. So there's a Christian already in the play in the game. And Baumia, you're Muslim, but Baumia and Mahama, they are not new. Their Islamic or Christianity side was already on the ballot paper in 2020 elections. So at least we can estimate how it played a role in the vote patterns.
No, so what you take for the first time you're going to have a Muslim on the ticket.
Because, but I'm saying that they were in the race already. He was running.
It was Nana Akufo-Addo Mahama. I mean, it's been Christian.
But Baumia was a running mate, so he was a Muslim running mate. You can't change that too. So the decision to vote for
NDC won almost all the zongos in all the zongos.
Yes.
In the last election. So the point I'm making is that all these factors are going to play.
Islamic side, did they help him in the zongos?
Yes. Oh no. That's what I'm saying. That you see, all these factors will play. They can even play against you. You can be a Muslim or a Christian. Yeah, people will vote for you because they don't see you to be a good Muslim or a good Christian. Your own people can vote against you. So all those factors. So I'm saying that if you consider the religious factor, ethnic factor, economy, and also credibility, and the competence of the person in relation to the vision as for the country, my candidate, Mr. Alan Chamartin, stands very tall. So we are going to have a very interesting election. I can promise you.
We will have very interesting. They will definitely have a very interesting. But yes, what candidates Alan Chamartin only vehicle no? The numbers, one also numbers now we are looking at. If you look at these percentages, you break these percentages down into nominal numbers. You are looking at over 5 million total votes. Can your candidate Alan Chamartin pull 5 million? Not because NDC no NPP won't you put that 5 million.
If you are Mama Kasaminchro, political party behind all membership owed 1 million or Ghana.
No champion last NPP in NDC. What will put 2 million?
Oh, behind you.
2 million members.
Oh, behind you. What happens in that? You will go for your sympathizers. You will go for your supporters. You will floating voters. These people change. They can change anytime. Even members change. Even members, party members, will move from one party to the other. The point I'm making is that this election has its own dynamics. If you consider who Mr. Alan Chamartin is, and the fact that Ofi NPP, and if you look at the personality, Mr. Alan Chamartin, if you consider all the factors I've mentioned, the 4 factors I've mentioned, if you put him on each factor, he stands taller. He's very tall. And I'm saying that the way Alhaji Baumia himself has started playing the ethnic factor, for example, the thing is coming home to the north. If it comes home to the north, Mahama will go 4 years. I will go 8 years. So that we should, if it comes, you should stay here 8 years. That is ethnic politics. He's playing the ethnic card. The same way, if the Southerners also begin to play the Southern card, what do you think was going to happen? So I'm saying that the numbers.
Don't you remember Alan Chamartin saying that we need a Christian leader to lead Ghana and baby we want somebody.
Yes.
And ethnic card, Alan Chamartin has also said it made the same.
Religious
our base is in Ashanti region, Ashanti region or in the central region. Manage Alan Chamartin from before 2007. I know.
If you're
has also played ethnic card too, saying that they have quarter central region, they have Ashanti region. So ethnic and religious politics, the one you know will play.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying, that it's going to be very interesting this time. Because this time it seems to be very pronounced. If you look at the way the campaign is going, these factors, each of the factors I've mentioned, will be pronounced in the election. Yes, people may not want to openly play the religious and ethnic card, but in behind closed doors, these factors are being played in churches, in mosques. I remember in Nigeria, in Nigeria election, the religious card played active role in the election in determining who became the president of Nigeria, and it wouldn't be anything different in Ghana. Yes, in the last election, it was straight fight between the two political parties. So who started fantastic. But the point I'm making is that this election has its own dynamics, and I expect something different to happen in this election.
Okay, what do you think will happen in the results in Ashanti region? Because of how Ashanti and Central, what do you think will happen?
Okay, the point is that this election, let me say that this election, nobody is going to win first round.
That's what Hobson told us the last time.
Yeah, nobody is going to win first round. That one, everybody should get it straight. 2, Ashanti region is going to be very interesting grounds, that one, unless you don't understand. If you look at Mr. Alan Chamartin, they work even on Ashanti region, that work.
Yes.
If you look at the work, the number he put in Ashanti region, and the kind of work going on in Ashanti region, I can tell you that Ashanti region is going to be very interesting region. The same way Central region is also going to be. In fact, let me tell you this. I was speaking to MP was Central region. He told me something, and what he told me, I knew something about it already. He said in Central Region, the only safe seat for NPP is Efutu. It was MP, certain MP who told me this.
Wow.
I said that the only safe seat in Central Region is Efutu. And some of the seats in Ponanoya a bit shaky, the party didn't conduct itself well in primaries, the way the system backs certain candidates and it's creating its own problems in Central Region. So if you are, let me say it, it's going to be a very interesting election. I'm telling you. Some of us who have been in the game for a long time, I can tell you.
Okay. I want to ask you what Alan is doing between now and because after 6 months, these are very last minute, last days are dangerous. But hold on. Nana, what do you think?
I think it's very interesting. I'm very much excited about how you've taken the process further by trying to look at the data, fact-based, the evidence. Sometimes I think that is what is lacking in a lot of the political show that I see, because election is scientific to a large extent on the amateur. So understanding the science and the reason behind that numbers, can help you even strategize the way you campaign. And yeah, baby Anna, you go and you start campaigning. There are some places you can campaign no matter how you want. Your margin of the vote will not help you in any way on the amateur. It's understanding where to strategize and where to go, a key, because you don't have the luxury of time to go almost everywhere on the amateur. And that is the thing about Afro Franto. I don't think they have the leverage and the resources to be able to effectively mobilize the kind of number that they're looking for. And I can understand why they're now asking for a runoff. Because I'm commenting that they'll be very consistent about saying that this election will be pushed into a runoff. And if it is pushed into a runoff, when you say in a runoff, it do 2%, 1%, 3% more. Candidates or more margin, it becomes very important, right? So you begin to go into alliances with them. You begin to go into negotiation with them, and that might be their strategy. So it tells me that they are not here to probably win. And they are here.
No, but I also near bad. Why not say near bad?
I can't take that.
Other countries say Germany, Israel. We have this from as a union government. They do alliance. They say near bad.
If you when I mentioned.
I can't take that away from them. Election, you must have to go. You must have a strategy. But of course, they cannot go and tell their members that we are not going to win the election. They have to tell them, hey, you're not going to win it. But realistically, based on the numbers and what we know, it's not going to happen, right? So, but the Americans say, yes, no, the religious factors now more say to play out in this election. I agree with you 100%. Those factors will play out in this election, no matter how you look at it. On the amateur. But the issue, the Baumia factor, like you said, he's a Muslim. It doesn't mean that automatically Muslim will go and vote for him. And it's there on the amateur. But tendency said, like he said, people will want to overlook all the difficulties with the economy. Economy now is a factor because economy is not life. Life is much bigger than economy. Economy is part. Also, on the life, economy is what matters to him or her. Intinipano would go strictly on economy, on the amateur, and that is the Accra people. I see that most of the Accra people, their voting patterns will be based on the economy. You can take that from me for sure. Yeah, their voting patterns will be based on the economy, and there's no way that will not play out in Accra. But if you go outside of Accra, that dynamics begin to change a little bit, right? There are other considerations that may be way more than the economy. I'm very hopeful, sir. This election. The Muslim factor and the Christian factor, I don't think Ghana Christians are so much worried about a leader being a Muslim or not, because we've seen.
Oh yeah, I know there are people. There are people who have also expressed that that concern to have heard Christians need to be Muslim. The people have their preferences. They be to make some Christian, and until they are not able to see you true, and also. That is why Baumia is being strategic. People are even advising Baumia on Pentecost, Church of Pentecost for chairman and running mate to woo the Christians to his side. So that the few who's the Christians and the Muslims, no religion can say no Biana. But there are fanatics involved. So and that's what people are saying. So a Church of Pentecost. If you look at the numbers at Church of Pentecost for what? Onya Omunipa, running mate, and that's just about 2 million. members number come.
Sister Fia, he's assuming that a Baumia candidate, his vice will not be a Christian. That's his assumption, right? If his vice is a candidate, how will he factor that analysis into a religious factor? No, can like don't dynamics now make if Baumia picks a vice presidential candidate who is a Christian, how do you weigh that factor in your analysis? Will it dampen our sentiment, or it will still not matter? You think that what you are saying now will prevail? That because the candidate and then in terms of dynamics, and if that candidate is coming from you made the Ashanti region says a big factor, it's coming from the Ashanti region as well, then it could have a double effect there, right? Home, you are kind of galvanizing your home support, your stronghold. At the same time, you are dampening the Christianity factor that would have gone against you in the election. So the permutations and the combinations will matter. And at the end of the day, like you also said, the quality of the candidate. Some people who vote on the quality of the candidate, but honestly speaking, most of the election is not based on the quality of the candidate. You know that for a fact.
That is so.
And in some advanced countries, to some minute details. No, elections on strongly party affiliation. Whether party good, party no good, to a large extent, majority of the people go and vote for their parties. That is the fact of your election, to a large extent. It is a fact. There are some group of people they don't care about NPP and NDC. In the moment, the contest, the quality of the candidate, the proposal, their policy. There are some people who vote strictly like that. But unfortunately, in our society, that group of people, they don't dominate the space. They are louder too. They are louder. They can be the civil society. They can be all book long people. But unfortunately, they have one vote, and the average poor person in that small village who has one vote. We weight all the votes equally. It's not as if one vote is giving 50% weight in the election. So you see how another election here, fear delegate because the net effect of that combination will play out. That's why election is not the best candidate always will win. Sometimes the best candidate don't win elections because of confounding factors. Sister Fia, strategy is very important in this election, and the northern factor may anchor Nekano. Unfortunately for Ghana, the two candidates are from northern extraction. When we say Ghana 4-on-1 South, most people think that if you're in the north, you are probably a Muslim or something, right? Mahama crown Christian. At some point, people are like, how is this a Christian? But I don't know so on northern side there are other Christians there equally.
Catholic Church, Roman Catholic, they're very popular there. Apart from Islam is the biggest religion, then you have Catholic. The Catholic is the next biggest religious organization. Then Assemblies of God. Yes. Assemblies of God is also big there.
And a Pentecost. They don't know some people Runoff. He's never been a Muslim. He's never even been in any tradition. He was born straight into a Christian, but his name will probably bear a Muslim name and not something like that. Some people still know that. In the way, so not phone they are one people. Who come off? It's not one people. So they know. Who come off for now? They are sections and factions and different interests. The Gomba Phone have a whole different perspective about how they see politics. The Gonjas have a whole different perspective about how they see politics. And the Wallace, the Dagatis, and the other people too have a whole different perspective about how they see politics. One group of people thinking that there are these differences.
That's true.
You could just group them and say, so they're nordness. You see, they're kind of simple nordness, just to make it simple. But it is not simplistic when you say nordness. There are differences in there. Sister, if you are a percentage now, but that's where I want to go. Like you said, you made that point that if you see 51% in Northeast, 51% Northeast and 51% Ashanti region, they are the same 51%, but they don't mean the same thing.
Numbers mean exactly, they don't mean the same.
Who the offer percentages in this contest it might mislead you a little bit. So you have to go back and look at the nominal number. And it's not done hopes in Mekache say. So I'm not ready to phone you now. Come with votes. If Ashanti region claim do half of them votes. You see one who they are not in no feedback. So Northern region in the presidential and parliament.
Oh yeah, say the total over all the 5. They say about 6 Northern region. Over in Aboma, the total votes that does not match up to even Greater Accra region votes. They didn't do half of
So it's so I want what they call on now we vote. No, I bet me we know all right, but the totality of it, meaning impact in the national election, anything a greater Accra, Ashanti region, Eastern, and a Western, the areas we even who lose now margins near lower, now team maximize who stronger, you can end up covering for other places when you know. Fortunately for the NPP, small other regions now not traditional they are not able to compete there equally with the NDC because of the Bamia factor.
Okay.
That is the ending. I'm NDC for NDC for have not realized something. NPP is a strong party no matter how you look at them. Yesterday, Ghana in the 1992 election, NPP was down there and NDC was up there because NDC was in government then. They had state resources. They were able to run their machinery through all this government, and their party was very strong. NPP was down there 31%. So after the election, no 31%. To the extent that today, NPP is able to compete boot for NDC and winning the elections about 51% margin. Do you think that is a party that is not strong? This is a party.
Okay, now I'm understanding you. That is NDC should even fear NPP more because of growth. No, my growth from negative all the way to.
Yes, that should be a concern for the NDC because they are most starting from a very advantageous platform. Now, I'm going to team a party, you know. And I'm here, the ambulance in our role is one more establishing more liberty machine, state machinery, and run a moneyama. What can I say? I'm on one no money resource, no, or might me a body of one and the monomo election. Last election, 140%. And you think that this is the M party, MPP is a small party to deal with. MPP, for disadvantage of more going to this election, and say in the past, MPP used to appeal more to the elite, but our elite group, because of the DDP program, no. I just say a binomo elusive rate our MPP no.
DDP no dey.
Debt, domestic debt exchange, DDP
okay.
program. No one say Ghana for no. I na make say ska for no say. Mona mo de musika bo aban bo sia no mama interest. Tama na aban mama interest akese na se be na mo gye no. Na munya ho fa so. Man be kan kire hia for no say aban e de tax ni tia interest akese. DDP buy a yet for interest no so de. Manual den. Na mo ka che Ghana for say aban no abeji musika. Fair enough. But how many people lend government to money to the government? How many people buy treasury bills? How many people invest in bonds now? Most of the private elite groups, lending to the government. How many of them do that? So DDP, even though are affecting some people negatively, this is the statistics. What is the number? That voting block. We are saying.
Okay, says the Gabon also obviously Ghana. Okay.
So you see, Tiaba says Gabon people. They say I don't know for 2 MPP, fine. Okay. But if everybody is able to make it up in the rural areas in some other place now, it will counterbalance the effect here, outweigh that, and then in the presidential election, you see that they will make more noise, but come back numbers. Where are the numbers for them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bravo. I'm
happy Nanaya agrees with me there. The 4 factors I mentioned, they are going to play a role. All the
but he's also asking you, catch us and about me, Christian. Oh, say Muslim now about me, and can even go against him because there are no guarantees. Some better man, and he's telling you about me, Christian, so bad.
I'm saying
it's like
yes, the issue is who occupies the highest office of the land. That is what concerns people. It's
no, I don't think so. Not the
main position. If you are the point has to be made there. Nana your assembly that the DDE the people like the intellectual community, those in the cities, middle class people and all that. And one number here. Let me tell you, when it comes to rural politics, one political party that is strong. Check NDC, one statistics. They always win the rural areas. Check the statistics. Their strength is in the rural areas.
But he's telling you about the numbers from there.
I'm coming. Yep. So MPP, the strength of MPP, which Nanayo himself admits, in the MPP, first, and that middle class, the intellectual community, because of the way MPP was brought up, MPP had a lot of supporters within that community. But he himself admits that it is not the case. Things are not the way they used to be. CCR.
They used to be, okay.
So the MPP has lost touch with that community if you like, and because of the way some of the way some of the things have been done in recent times. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be very interesting election. If you have mark my word, the dynamics are going to be different from the elections we've had in the past. This election, because the economy, let me tell you, it is not true that only those in Accra and Kumasi think about the economy. What is happening in this economy?
I'm not saying the old you. I'm talking about the weight that the people in Accra.
I'm coming. Economy in major cities in this country. The major cities in this country, go there. The economy, people are finding it difficult to make ends meet. People are feeling the effect of the economy.
The pinch.
The pinch. People are really feeling it. So it's certainly going. If you ask me the factors that are going to affect the election, I will place economy as the number one factor.
Okay.
Because especially if you consider
the fact that economy above a tribe, no religion.
Of course. But especially if you consider the fact that NPP rode on the back of the economy to win election 2016. So it can be different next time. It's the same economy issue that is going to come up in respect of interest rate, inflation, the debt issue, all those issues. And let me tell you, there are people who look up to the people in the cities, what they say. And some of them have family members in the villages. They talk to them. And so it's good. That's what I'm saying, that this election, of course, when I mentioned that there's going to be second round, I didn't mention that NPP and NDC are going to be first and second, and we are going to be third. I didn't say that.
Opsin told us the last time.
I'm telling you. Let me tell you this. If you get to know what is happening, if you said you're going to ask me about a fantastic one,
yeah, but 6 months, I don't know why.
This election on your noise making, if you are, or your phone, or your house to house, door to door campaign. That is what we are focusing on your giddy. Because he who feels it knows it. Those who feel the economic pinch, you don't need to talk to them too much because they feel it already. So, and we are working on the ground. Of course, we don't have to disclose our strategy. I'm telling you, this election, if you are, mark my words, I'll come back some other time. I'm saying that it's going to be, the second round will be between Mr. Mahama and Mr. Alan Chamartin.
And Alan will join.
Based on all the factors I've mentioned to you. Okay. All the factors, they are all going to play. And you see, it will be, that's what I'm saying, that this election is not like any other election we've had in this country. Okay. And let me tell you,
I appreciate the perspective that you bring to this. But what I'm also telling you is, like you said, the economy will play a key factor. Of course, Accra, maybe and they will be to some extent. But what I'm telling you is a contest of election. We know. Say Nanka, Yemfan say NDC did different candidates about. And because economy factor, a big player, big time. The weight in the back is here, but because candidate NDC for the ban, economy now will beat NPP down on. What of us are candidates in the bar? Voters now asking themselves, okay, as the NPP on the economy have lost it. But is the other alternative really the candidate that we think has a solution to what we are talking about here?
Unlike alternative is Alan Chamartin.
Well, but
if you may change, you see the Afro barometer report, because there's a tending perception will Chrome say perhaps Mahama may have managed the economy better than NPP. So that one, that perception may not be reality.
If the figure show, I don't want to even go to the numbers. I think that the perception on the street, it was bad under Mahama. It was bad under Mahama. It is worse under Nanado Bawumia.
Okay. That's
good evening. But just our microphone, where do my microphone and I ain't but just over there no.
What you mean?
We said the client you half there tunka.
I still fear me share Ghana election e koso na. First thing on obi to say Alayan Kasano. To me, or you will be or more prepare somebody government Ghana. Because I am yet to your politics, but no crane I yeka.
Increase over mammy only from Peja only mammy.
Joyce, the volume me, man.
I tell you, Papa, born before computers into here. Sometimes headphone get nice. A bit me interview, but all the Peja on this okay, and your volume now.
Okay, Yamichran say,
good.
Obi say, Miss Alan or your nipa will good. But I say, who policy be our diaba. And I bounce your tune the over catch them here who say, Obi to me. And the two, to me, Obi our yet selfish and me pet no nai. Because wo ya share bibi to silent way. Ya fa obi to say abronya this. Ebe jironi ala jinawa. Abronya juma wa NPP no. Ala yebi.
Hey, opening what to boy steady ala.
Tie.
Abronya nya classmate. So how dem fanu go abronya nya classmate kra.
Enya wona me de ko. Wo free tete na dre. Ba me si 2016 20 yi bay. Election mo be campaign ni amalo. Hwe 2020 kura no. Ano no be pe bibia dia hunu bibia o ye ebu a omo kempa omo ye. Ye obi tre ho na boken. O gina yi so o ye campaign ahodo ni de keka ho. Etu omo de de enfanto o. Na me policy a magina me di se e wo abato ni se. Eye NPP ni NDC e na omo beko. Eno de ade e da ho. Nemom to me imagine no NPP nye NDC nye party I say Ghana for ye di achire bio me Paul imagine ni say me nkan ko ba bia because me hwe bibi ti say NDC omobo manum bia ye Lawrence amamu ni be hu ne Lawrence breso sa susu semi bai ama bibi di ba mas hwan e ba titi yesika me fitachi mata no so yo be gigi sika sa Lawrence Tabi o yan si akwa ni alatani sika no hwem yan sanka na ayi kufuo ba isa ne mani na atwam abe na bank mom na rashid di sika manipa NDC samra biewa wo sister fia dim lady kwa abri kwa vuo bia bintu da bia na mitie wo adom FM mukofa nam wan masemba Ghana fo di matem mutimi tioma obagi Ghana fo sika nyina yetia ya ne se Atranko sunyane ne regions na aka no nka Ghana boy Ghana one boy Ghana na this for one DKM God is love one nyina o mo braso ne san bae ade ti na party bi dia ba ese be chin sam Ghana for nka gi yesika ko na so Ghana for di akiri yesi o mo nya corrupt wo na no na metie program bi na oka say corrupt no mfa nipa no ko court e ma ye mu ya no fa wontimi mfa wa no nka because our perception e kan de obi e ka bi Aso wo hwe NDC for nya kan yan ka de tia me te NDC nye party ese de cheze wo hwe obi ya minister Ghana for ne tia patruka ya ma usika ya hwew kokoto ambulance breya wako fa ntonto we sa adaka we aba be so say na me kwa man post school no ye ka se me nto ambulance mre Ghana for me to akoto ambulance boramfo o kwa na NDC for asoli ni akire se mo tie nipa na wa ka no kre wo fa wu ya soma Jisika kwato adaka kwato ya ofa de nhyem kronko ya kwaka ho ma amesi mi ya busu apanyinment
ya ba pani se e wo court wo mu nwie nti o di ka se wa ya mo mami
we de yani ya fit yanini adai kwato adaka bre fancy ofa ade ba ya ofa anan kra ye bubu ne de adaka mu ezu ye gisi ya de kwato ansan ye buya
Ghana de agisi ya de court won't me go bi anketum
kwato kra ye mfa nko ye kra ye nyina ye mu si wa de boni na bre etu de ha sa nyema we nyina meke ade na NDC nko aba ese Ghana ye sofa ade ntira
edu ba che say one NPP for betna so Ghana nya problem bi won't see the dollar exchange rate no won't see sikedi e cost won't corruption sema o
me to asie corruption no ye de NPP ni bi akwa gina court say why corruption sisi a
say mo na mo for mo court e NDC so mo mbeche mo nkofo nyina won't
kofu abreso mo ka mo che ba akutu Rory Star bo on zifiri wa NPP for mo chi bi gumo etini epeke ye pa Ghana kromfo de na ye wo mo a no kra ye ba akupe
Yo.
Ya fa no to. Ye ti ame mani abra make am. Yo. Sister Fia. Abatu ayeto ne Ghana ni nyina no. Ye nyina ye pe o man ni nkro. Na se wo se wo ba be che kromfo. Me so nsi me ba me cha. Enka bra ya di atofo che ko je. Enka NDC fo enka wo ba no ntum. Makọọtụ nye na edwuma ba timi tie lawyer timbe John Wakasa na yen ya nko school kra no ya gini yes enti we ya lawyer ampa na say onye lawyer because of politics nti sabio nyansa no so afiri wa na ade no man ye di ya we mu NPP bai dollar ni ayi no ye musa mu se enti no se ne ene yan to aba ma president mama we dollar ndi no be ya fa dia no be won tie yo aba timi nya fe yo because you tell me can you or mine no me ka exhibit you
obani efesi o
me ba mami ka we nkwanam ye ye mra na anya adwuma because me free Italy eba kroma me kuta sika me kuta euro me de ko akoto ade om ka change tem sesa eko ayi pounds man sana betima yusu ade no man yetima tena ama obi atena kwan ho a yesiesie dollar se de yesiesie banchi obi agina ba bi to dollar o ma ba ne ye ni sa.
Okay.
Okay,
obani tina wa ba wo ho nti wo ba wo ho no ma wo de ne se wo be hemra a wo de be straight in law no se de ba obi anyina ka akwa ho ntonton dollar. What is Ibrahim, good evening.
Good evening. Yes, I'd say
Adomozo
Boko. Well, after top for the Tembia, as if say, Omni NPP for Nkwanenya. As MBO Kabia, they can against a MPP. So, as soon as Omuchumuta, Enya, a befama, said, none my nekana, they think Sibia, election, Bekobia, second round. Maybe people will talk to them, then they have a better chance. Fine. But one thing about Ghana, so in politics now. I mean, say there are certain things beyond my say you can't want them. For example, as a your environment. So me say no nia eno so ya dia ehia me pa because ohwe sa Asia for ya they are now turning desert to a forest. But so ohwe statistics so Ghana I'm say for the past 10 years we lost about 60% our forest. And so no who say even media cry omuye de fasa anima we say
yeah Ghana for na gasa nema sa hia o okay yeah
who said the bedin no nenu nko an hia yen so enti sa nema na is a very serious pa sister sa break cry or forest cry so to you know ye cry dwane fi abuchi na ba say ye koto dwane fi bi man so na say ye man e da ne desert a e say be wu so
yo
na foreign policy so efa nyema won say ye wa Africa ye sha Africa no so I was saying nyema woni susu nyina hia but for me I see say in Africa say one country bit me a single out say or bit me die party say like we didn't better to abuche no I don't think say bit my possible so the me who say Africa bit me ya he say nyina kabom on anti foreign policy so no and it's very important because for example South Africa as a hoye yi kakrai so countries will be a person ko on so say Ghana nema timi kosu ya is a foreigners in bobo gumama ni ebesai on anti foreign policies so no and so maintain ho asem obi anka ho hwe de ye kan ni
economy I was out to Ghana dynamics na say yeah foreign policy near the America for no more yes an issue no big issue Ghana is shut here yes because they are not big catch up Ghana dokuno as I say here about our poverty woman no people look at the needs Maslow law diagram na they here you know is survivor baby they to the voters no you can think about foreign policy near there because they have the basics. Yeah, no African you need basics. So the concentration is on basics. Diane bo can you bo insure bo. So school could they shout baby those are the ones that the voters want to hear about.
Yes.
Foreign policy.
Me market wise. Someone say can't billionaires. We have many on Nigeria, Ghana. Why? Because Nigeria have a big market. So say Africa, a bit to me as sorry we need the big market.
Okay.
So and last me take Casapreco. Now kind of story. Or just say Emla or started say why smart. Or started say why insano. Or planning say Obama they na look different. Into a babuche be researches enya different flavor. The Nigeria for no who say insano eye ma omono Nigeria onya Nigeria access to Nigeria marketing. And a Casapreco, a be Casapreco. Only Nigeria. The imagine say Casapreco bet me as out across Africa. How many I can say factories will beat me or the basic Ghana?
My two points, and I agree with you on that.
I follow and also count, but we don't talk about that. So we'll be about.
I think it's still because baby I can here, but to the ordinary voter, no, or you need to be dear, be young first. They say, "Oh, full plane, I see it's your mask." And so now me about they are thinking about survival, they are oxygen before. But when you leader, papa, leader, no, will think about those foreign policy now. A bit creative. So I agree with this. We don't talk about it much. But maybe for another person, I think one of these days we need to make this a big issue. Mohammed, Bacho, good evening.
Sister Fia, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I said last na yantime name come on very far. But here, Sister Fia, background with the Maya when you started the program. EFA data for election 2020-2016. But which means that NPP achieved those goals because they used propaganda. And the fact checkers approve a lot of the propaganda NPP at the winning election both for 2020 were lies.
From 2000 election, that's what we winning, and also I don't say propaganda. Just propaganda.
There be some propaganda. What there be if you wouldn't want to say Mahama see hotel or Dubai. Where is the hotel? Ghanaians believed it.
Yeah, but I'm a Casa President but he still won the election.
And that is the propaganda, Sister Fia. That is the propaganda.
Elections be a propaganda, but my understanding kakani experience kakami in elections, no. Election be a propaganda wom. Abrochiro UK. What do my mic no? So mic no. What do no? What do my mic no? What do my mic no? Yantonka. Oh, check on mic no. I want our mic no because now I say ba okay. Who restarting no? Okay, I need restarting no. Restarting the moment. Okay. Am I? But you are coming. Oh, what? Yeah, maybe you feel so. Yeah. I go back and see. Mommy tell good evening. I go back and see. Mommy tell. Oh yeah, what say? Before we here, my pastor mess about so Ali. But yeah, where you know microphone, mommy. I go back and see and tell.
Doesn't mean Casapi na compare Mr. Buckman or the non-compare but then the questions too pet. But unfortunately, no call.
He's still in the back room.
What's a year king? For the upper front of was winning elections to be an achieve. Second round was Ruka. Or like once starts elections, we lose out away because obviously one will be in power. We're working in the second round. Second round is going to be between Alex Martin and Mahama. Who does that? Data is big in a that the only alternative, it's so clear. But I hear people forecasting the government has it. Why are they so much interested in the candidature of Mahama? Why? What is it?
It shows
One
how
party.
important. And yes, Mama is the important candidate.
So why would he? What started the Mazi Onyendo? Every time back, speak about the issues and leave the candidature. Oh no, NDC no aka for Mahama aba. What's your problem? Aka for Baumi aba. Also aka for the Mahama aba. Do your campaign. Also your campaign. Why are you always like, if he has been another person? Why? What do they expect NDC to come and select Baumia for them? Or do they expect NDC to come
I don't know what you are complaining about, they are competitors. It shows you that they are par. They see Mahama as a threat. It's definitely they will talk about it. That's how the nature of the game is.
I'm not complaining, but see, this election is not. I'm one of those people who don't believe that election is a game. It's serious business. It is serious business. What's in it? Is NDC coming or not winning? That's your topic for the day, right? And obviously, between the two parties, they are the alternative. They be able to that in every civilized countries, there are two main political parties. Unless something dramatic, something, I'm not sure power ban, the next person power ban, the person has to be tried and tested. If the person is not tried and tested, there's no way the public or the citizen will just try and error which some are sure. Try and error which we need people who have done it before. If you're part of the political elite, we'll ask you questions. Prove to us.
Okay.
And
then they trying to short time. I go back with you. That's it. Right, good evening.
Good evening, about today.
Adam Bajo, it's you. What do you think?
Well, me one year, my man, be American fan.
Bajo, raise your voice, man. I don't know, and they move around. My voice no question. I think it's the device now. Hello, but yeah, hello.
Okay, but me switch it from Bluetooth to. I mean, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, switch it. Because sometimes I think Bluetooth to me echoes here.
How's it now?
Yeah, it's better now. It's better this way. Yeah.
Okay. Niema me ansa pe na me kana ma tietie and my fish. Me pese me jo time be break. First of all, Mr. Dinkrebi no be kasa no. Ne kasa no be break no kan ni nyina no. Utimi say political talk and he's trying to condemn Alan. Baby odi free Alan cry. Utimi fadin to abroad nya. I feel that is an insult, but it's okay. Wabeka na no personal opinion. These are some of the things I'm not Ghana yentimin koyenim no. They judge you with certain character. The papa we don't say it. Yeah, obi obeba kitty me kun me ball me yo say those are the name. Obi obe play the gent of calmness. Not in India to from the Western bibi woman. Ghanaians don't want that. It yanya there ya man ebeko en. If you me the economy I crashing in Nigeria near map kakra bia a year this administration a year akoso Ghana. One, sa omu policy na omu ye say we agenda 111 and no more year. Yes, you see that we are coming to build we are if you that was the first mistake this administration here. One, if you are utini for when you no share to definitely, what do any me share to ebebo? What they could have done is Sikana Musaka Musimudubaya agenda 111. Fantastic. Go one after the other. Uyebako aye complete. I started here Jumase Hospital na Usia. What see what the equipment boom, what for employers, nurses what say here Juma. Boom, let's do the one from Kintampo. Near Kintampo, near started for 8 years. And then almost see you're uncompleted. It is a CIA Omubejasa, a coway at all. Taxpayers, Sikaya wasting on. If I saw Benebaso, it goes the same thing with this national cathedral. We don't finish one and then we start the next one. All because we try to say also, yeah, agenda 111 will be say it's ongoing project. It's ongoing project. I count 6 months. Now I'm going we. It's a say NDC for ba. Na se sika taxpayers Ghana for sika yesu. Na se nyame ampata na se whoever is coming next administration about wa metwa so a. Na kwa sagla me case bio.
There be na say I say waste say omo disika no one si dan na so omo si dan no.
To me I know so much disika nefa. Because fan raise this, here, they could have finished all of this. But as I have been bonny, okay,
they could have finished all the agenda one. I can't watch them. After COVID, it wasn't even in the budget. It was subsequent budget and how would they have finished? Because I don't. It's not possible.
My point is, why do you have to promise it's agenda 1-1? Even if it's agenda 1-1, there were 16 regions in Ghana, right? Ode Kamunya de each region Biakra Musibako. Nanya 16 hospitals Ukraina. At least for almost 8 years, they feel coming 8.
Okay.
So what you say? Etino omuna ayameka omanisi kasema rough. Mami mo na economy.
Yeah, 2028. Yeah, economy, but elections. Who will win? Do you think when you affect your money?
Oh, yeah, it's going to affect NPP. If you're going to NPP, I'm not going to deny here. Sometimes we don't want to face facts. Kromo Aubaha, you almost say yes. You two strong party states, Republicans and Democrats. But if you say do election time, say Democrat president, now say more the same Democrat, are criticizing the government. No, I got to my Republicans say, you know what? Say I'm no because Joe Biden a lot of Democrats say, oh, you're too old. His age, a beating it, say, Oman is the candidate now for Frama. They will almost Trump would they almost the case at Trump at the far banoko. I don't know how much Trump that strong or campaign on it. Upon allegations or some of them is still in court, ongoing cases. Still we support Trump and that's what we do. That's how we do politics. And you see, NPP, NPP, Sabita Friday, NPP, be cool, chrome, him crying, I will say, still, medium NPP, no, he know who, no one, and yet, one ship, a woman, say, a man, think here. Me kota petrol Ghana, a higher kind of gas after 4-5 years. But petrol, let me call it local, will be at say. Me kota petrol, now me corner gallon here 14 cedis. If you are young cousin, me NPP, need me meton 8 cedis. Oh, yeah, NDC near you buy the same price. And let's forget about this. Partisan say, me NPP, me NDC. As I me comment. If you are on my who is going to win?
I know who is going to win any main topic.
I wasn't there too much, but who pushing me? We patch up, Mr. If you are a cropia or man be a factor, right? An economy. Economy is like a foundation of the growth of every country and every nation. It is an economy collapse because no biana economy ne hanu. Obu are not chrome basically he says come at Accra na eseka omusu. But the that's the wrong statement. Economy shrinking a conjunct status. It affects everyone. Say, oh, sit down in the foundation. How can you build that building? Say, but nearby, promises awama. How can you promise with this economy? Sikano away. Unless you say, they are going to use it once he wins the power. And it's some no more. You focus on the economy. Okay. My economy the city na atimi aba form na I feel yetimi shape on yemutimi fa hwe ma dey.
Okay, well, I think that over there you I'll catch the reality from the report about what informs the voting. A lot of people don't say economists are the few people mention economy. I'm kind of to Baby, if you are sorry, people are more inclined to vote that way than just the economy. Bravo, good evening.
Sister Fia, good evening. Sister Fia, answer a question. A straight question. What's say one about when it 2024? The current heat na cost on the NPP for normal lose election. Se bibia ansesa na because Sister Fia, that tension na it lead to 1 million vote gap now. Omunya in 2016, that tension has started again. Where almost in so a turn and saying Accra in so yiri baby omo share bosses are there no ba be sino as so 7 months to the election in so need that so nipa ewo enkrabonten so omo ka so omo be $1 na de na ko share prison as so next dollar no wadane wa take it level ewo wiem and won't cost I am a fosike de bre wo Paris club sika omo koje ye Bosnia fechire omo born one change nyina entimi solve problem no ama say omo ntimi nto empower generators ewo Ghana enti take in 2016 and then the announcement about 2020 no sadie na da so koso and the NPP straight say I just say what's that na ye argument be say ye be ko fa Muslim ye be Sister Fia ye ko fa Muslim ye ko fa Christian ye ko fa Buddhist and no be ma madwane adi just Ghanaians must wake up. We are growing ye nyam collide game ubenyini sa na koma de wa na odi hia no wo eno ne ye pe ana say ye be ya enhihye ya ebetima ma ya ye tiase ye ne ye nana no ti say ya brochire ebetena ya ye me betena brochire tax send na matua ma broni and so I it looks as if say I am okay in life enhihye papa and so
how we vote
brain yes say a mindset then you show your certain and then me send this number ya £1 a lemon finance 1845 it is too much within the last month this money has increased more than 35%. I'm not more than a cost these people will lose the election. Someone lose there, and they're not Ghana. Young people, no, you're very sad people. Manuasi.
Yo, mama na ati wrap up na me ko overkill ho. Overkill mama so microphone ko first name my.
Good
evening. Adom also eh.
Oh, nyame adom Stefia.
Stefia. I don't know say my feedback.
Stefia, unim. Election there, you need to say easy, but Stefia, Dr. Baumia will win it. Dr. Baumia will win it. Sure, Stefia, Mr. Jerry Becker said, he said, Agenda 111, you started 8 years ago. The person meeting the floor, Mr. Jerry, and you know, Agenda 111, you started in the last 2 years, yeah, 8 years ago. But also, MPP by 18 years, yeah, Minusia, 101, I met me at a hospitals are MPP by almost SCA, but cultural. Stefia, I'm coming, was a movement for normal bar, and a backward runoff. Almost need base, yeah, Stefia, a Ashanti region, yeah, and yeah, Alan Kwan, a free war. What stand you ho? What in the stand was Ashanti region? Nana, a crowd or every NDC. Understand here, over Ashanti region, if you say, Nana crowd, my when you say, Share Nana Kwadra Krana that time NDC Mununa or base. Yen na himself sham man schools are almost see with the 31st December. Our 10 hono class if you are Banonia say. I shan't read in Sena Onya no. What a young fellow insist because Alan Trematin Diana Omoyan a dead daily Yaubina movement for Moya, but Debbie Americans say election Alan Trematin 2% of Prana who programs to make make
Oh, my God,
if you are missing more programs,
2% to cry.
if you are missing programs, we must Alan Trematin 2%. This year elections are. If your programs make jaiba. But if you are NDC for no, if your economy fine. Mr. Jerry Bekan say we economy. But me catch Mr. Jerry say UK na e wono. Ya to aba enye economy na ya na if you just to about. UK ano NHIS NHIS. Ena ya na ye gina so education ena ye gina so. Ena UK are ye gina so bisa abroad job interview bia no. Ne health ena ya na bia no. Enti ya mama NDC for no no omo say economy ni tin ye beto aba he 2008 Ghana economy no o man pay ku for time na economy say na ye so e dey na Ghana for original so beto aba NHIS Atamos ever promises say one time premium and I got for the agents to try about it. Share economy no fine economy be more kind economy but NDC time nana John Mahama also nana say economy no na NDC ni bibi ono mutina so the count out say you buy and say near but yeah there be say economy be so free education nana do aba no di pa me so nya ho faso nti obi so tiwa who ka economy no also no free education e bi afane say ne ma be 5 e na nya omo akọ school free stuff ya me tie apart from me ba me ko from here or Ghana what cost what nya free education no me nuanu mo ma be 6 omo nyina nya bi this year na ya to aba omo nyina akọ register omo nyina akọ to aba imagine na me kwa ebushani pattern me me free am ko Ghana akoto aba na me for say ebushani ba ko me ma me enuanu be 8 enuanu me for say enuanu say 5 na Ghana me ko kan wa 6 omo ye ma be 6 I say
hey over there
baby ya some kan me ko say me de me dey na ya example actual that's a fine economy ni dey stay here na no Niama nkoye mo ye fili because this week is meant to be a mapa kotono. Ebona me to se fienye but ye nim the way so the real economy the enu I say ye good. We all know. But Ghana ni no to no. Ne bana wonya free school no education no no so be na so dey ato aba. Enti wo de economy ni bana wo so dey we ba e ho na se fie be hu na se fie man ever cancer propaganda. NPP before you propaganda, Mr. No, who be a propaganda, who you supply NDC. Yen na nim 2008. O man paying for a campaign also a cotton Ghana gold. If you quote or call here and ye bisan went me answer. I can say Alan Trematin or man paying for another more. The bank statement says he come at our bank. Eba in NDC point me am a true obi anko anko. And they for propaganda na at the end ya na NDC for nya na NPP for
propaganda ni bi.
So you na use propaganda NPP for use propaganda NPP for now ya check Ghana for say ba de ya akosini na say na ya musan tuma ya be economy ni dey say fi na nado obekan yare ba o say na nado kan o say nim kwan a also the power white me for the palm mouth. By economy need the say in economy never back.
Over here, my dog can get good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Fia. I think that we start the program. What the results need to analysis be now here. I mean, yeah, me who you say NDC and NPP. Then the last election, I think the difference near bare 4%, right? That was Nanado.
For the national total
yeah,
Nana.
yeah,
Well,
total winner.
totally
You had, it was 51 point, I think 7 or so. Not 47.2, something like that.
Okay, I'll go again and check it again.
Yeah, it was 51 point something. It was about 4%. See dynamics now. See MPP the new candidate about or no ballot no so that NDC the candidate but this might be the third time or be ballot so. Another thing, so they say looking at the state of the economy right now, no, say Bibia and Sasa and the bar say be 2 elections next week. I know that I can tell you to NDC befa. So NDC befa, there's no way MPP with me when looking at what is going on. But between now and December, no, say big beyond happy now. Be who how MPP beat me at 10 this whole thing around. Because in the first place, Omo candidate Dr. Baumiano or a part of this government, it won't mean in home fee whatever is going on presently no more. One year CD depreciation. I say a depreciating. Omo to me metre a BB potting or mobile e de aswano. The Omo baby kind and they say IMF ness are good for oil now. IMF for stop your money. I can when I scan a drop it. There's the who's on they say syndicated loan this year no. For the last cocoa we know. Scar most times here cry because here yields no echo form. In the serious government be say utumi share the obeya yields be costro and then I make kind say Ghana plan say by September on beji $1.5 billion in the syndicated loan. They're no cry no share reporter no how our true story now. They say without say yeah you banks are mobile boys are besiano. So almost already banks be crab bagana or more inspect your farms na some pounds so your yields no this year because right. The man me who say maybe a no na a buy no every bank in the hopes on say be close to the election, you know, say Sikane Babe bad say near a slow down kakra and for we take advantage. But who improvement be our man. Many sure say city deprivation on me no to elections. And we are
lose election.
Sister, if you are one, another thing why it's not happening, say, me 1 or 2 be or China. Wouldn't say just last month, within this month, freight cost, you know, a cost by more than 40%. And hitting market here too. In the field, the baby hitting market, you know, or more business circles, me sure say they might know. The FA no bow and no cram by. Because if in a near my ashipo, air in the never do market, you know, and also ba. So, inti say, near banner, day, but me no na me can say MPP as a government almost so home because almost policies need to be a populist. Railways are sister fear me a hoya me area, and me follow. And there be a me who lines no more now, or more juma or power. And sister fear real projects are very expensive. But me the alliance no any number. And let me beside me who say in the year studies ben pan intia like there are some specific lines be any namna like
I think the objective was to make passenger train. Doc, and your passenger trains.
Passenger. No, it's passenger.
Eastern Corridor, no, the line of Eastern Corridor, no. Until I'm some of the coffee, no.
But ye been in Western region, Central region, baby, and I'm as a rain, or juma or hopa. But share your colonial times, real lines are they had reasons for connecting those cities, connecting them to the port. Because real, I'm just sorry, I know you because sister, if you're boarding, real projects are expensive. 81 and also to mean got on mobia. I can want to buy way struggle no because we discover Brakwa question. Why now Baba church might so real? I mean, this guy question we say me yes, yeah, but baby, I would do lines and then I'm if you say more. Another thing, one village, one dam, sister Fia. So far, you name outcomes be through that one village, one dam. And the other for mine, Sika cry, the Ashemu, ye name Another thing, our more share yes, I cocoa yields now echo from no. So if you Western region, into Western region as seven America. Elembele area hold on. The way omudi galam say I say why cocoa farms are ya memo small scale for no permit to work with 2 omugusu to no sister fia enye easy. It way hina akoso because a few people might be benefiting, but on mine no generally no you be bread from this. Because farms or move to go or Western region, this is a very easy. Last time you knew a big as and I make say, we almost the environment will be loose. Was if you see kappa or money bad here. Tiani American, someone got 2 scapa and go Western region, you won't be loose Western region. So if you
I see that's how one day I becoming my brother. He's been in cocoa for about 30 years, so I know the cocoa situation. No, starting so I want to say cocoa na going. I think the problem is near now kind 2 things. Yeah, Ghana for now I hear complaining about the cocoa yield. We are the same people doing the galamsey. Into which one do we want? Yes, or fighting galamsey na yes, I'm tomorrow. Again, cocoa no come from me and yesika woman say economy ni. We must be clear what we want and what we will prioritize and what we will support our leaders to do. We can't always be fighting our leaders. Say, yeah, you person cocoa yield no cost. Yeah, so crying you cut China, cover China for but sometimes I don't understand Ghana for no. So yes, your problem. I mean, what do we want? You cocoa assume for years, but yet your coffee said that we deliberately go and bring Chinese people to come and mine. And I am offers into a for no. Who's a cocoa no so a cocoa they are valueless man. Munchanguni and to Galamseno. Munch any something that has served us over 100 years. So you cocoa neguay galamsey. You sometimes we must own up. Say so we must look at what we want. Areas are buying beer, Mahama Moya so more fighting galamsey 2016. Areas are more fighting galamsey na a samosa pomoye na NDC lost those areas. The same thing, NPP still lost those galamsey areas. So what do we the voters want? Yeah, we must be. I was saying, accept a count a brono, ye pedian, ye beddi, China, ye dating. It's just dog my name so unless you are naming call you.
Yeah, my minka last one. Sa DDP, Metisana na can wasem. Say, am I elite Nibu fool the present government because of more loose in their investments and stuff. Another one, I mean, maybe the bank collapse because minimum say me side my busu be up till now musika yintia through the bank collapse. The apart from omo cities, you know, bank collapse na this is the fear for baby I make say na be a GM bank ne say me boni dia all pretty no so you know say na all pretty almost Chrome have baby it is uncle for no more scan. Though they might not be in Accra, but most of same na show mutrim. Na any dynamics now. On fact, no count because I know so now and the issues they might have to deal with. Yeah, Manoesi. Okay.
Mami nasty dog. Mami nasty. What good evening. Namin Cobra Francis one Bra Michael. But what good evening. What do my mic no? Mami someone say. Okay, I'm saying this is also a microphone. No, I'm so what do no? So microphone in my hand. Mr. Alice went to me and the microphone here. I don't know what happened to his phone. No, because I see what change. I have the abamba you.
And if I'm a child in me,
Obiajo,
said yes, a corner dear. The Siena Beconia, NPP, the Nadia, Ibini, and they are dead. Because they Nanado crack a chair, Tama. Mama Tisha Mobano say, see the night, hata. And Untina, walk of our doctor Baumia say, Omission ye said a beer to the beginning and in what way. But they say in the city, I hata cram and abro did said another she vigil proper kind, a bros will be qua. And she said, ye campaign did a economy, no, a campaign made me the bar power, no. I name economy na saje gukran sa no an be sa de akọ opposition enti enanu de NPP de baomvis yakopon ya doma opposition de ye beko ama alanchamatia ni nyina say en ye beko en ye no kure ba me de me kai say Ghana for no ye nhisa ya adwene ne hu say enoma nkoyi a yenyi ye party na sem nto nchen nye hwe solution be ma enoma na yeyi Nenya say just we people need ade ni we kura na ose ye eno no emoye de ke be jina ka sa agenda 111 na ye adwuma yi o ma re wa de be tena ho ye busa no nka ba kokra wi wantimi anka wo pre wantimi anka say agenda 111 project bill na ya ni nyina enye nwie nti ade na yetimi sense ka say nim say bia 100 ni ntimi nya anka yemfi ni si 20 na 30 so ni ya wi ni a change say no sin say ye be jani nyina agum dudu ewura oh ni ene brebe ne go say nyankopon ya dom na say ye lusu na say NDC na say bi ba party bi ba na won so anto aso a na so akaka gumure mu sa oh nti amwa nti ade a ye hwa betima boa ye kakra mi betimi a ye nya nu nwie asen say ye be jani nyina gum say ye bebre ye ade aginim say ye we but na ade na wo ye nyina na wantima nwie ba kokora na wonyai
okay
wantima nwie ba kokora wonyai this kind of was okay and the fact if galamsia some yes poku ni ade nyina no NPP for na ye ntina yentimi stop galamsia no empanyfo na ye because empanyfo na ya obedi to stop am na ye entimi nye this empanyfo na nyaye a omo nyaye a galamsia die onya de no omutima stop so omo ajai
yo mama na so fire I think I'm saying the moment to me and enya de betimi akọ baby a me so do mpacho references. Good evening.
Good evening, Bahima. So
yeah near who you now so
yeah. Kakra mekane say when him say MPP for umbeko position because 8 years ago Nami was Ghana for few months. Last Nami catch us me body at to plan me bintoni. The same thing the same thing I say almost I can't Debia me catch us Ghana you need leader who create wealth. No leader our back from since 1992 so create a wealth to the country. So what I say, you will all the resources are you bet me the other I make his can yet me a my the team for no one who at all no my then or motimi at no mine I just adore mine but you need leader with me the other I share CD to a pound and then 1850. I mean, it's too bad. It is be the funny thing is that Obi shipu nema, once na Dr. Nekano. Obi shipu nema. When him say usi kanya, adentina unye cap. Ewa port wono. Se nebe ya omo be yi nema no fu kakra. Nanka utima mfo no. Omo timi ya den a survive.
I think
But
I
we
don't
did debut.
na proposing Mahama neighbor o me
But we did debut. But we did David Unim on paper the same thing, on proposal, but they won't do it. Because a hono munya good revenue every no mutimi ade aye omunia ma on person omude. Mami can't come back with you. They always do that, but they won't do it. Okay, say MPP for say garages for no umbe more muda sentiment so more munchia duty or something like that. I was so kind of magazine for.
I don't remember that. Omode neighbor. Benchmark. I know the yeah benchmark by 50% benchmark
But now they are paying. But they are paying now.
Say because IMF conditionality they needed that. Say they can't shrink it.
No, unim say ushebwa no what this so because unim say they bring a wealth to the country. I didn't think I saw come on kutia duty. No matter how they are taxing.
IMF conditionality is so influence that they should or much about they should do it.
This is what they're gonna say. They will go to opposition.
It's not about what they are saying. I'm telling you for a fact. The IMF conditionality was that we must
if it's part of it there, then you know what you say on Seguachi because one, what better now mine for 7 good years. One to me and creative BBI or mine so wait me the big dollars at the about my mudia. Then you are a big failure. I think sir, the bad news in this NDC is good, but they are not perfect. So what I say, ombetimi asaba power, omuntimi meyehe, and this is the problem. Yeah, and they say, me mami wa hospital. Me can't reality. Me mami wa hospital. When you have stomach infection, right? A doctor is waiting when you have 2 samples, which is blood and then what? And sorry to say, a poo. Almost trying for you, almost trying for we. Not we name ma. Now they were waiting, said they will get the wheel before they push on. I said no. So I didn't think I would 2 samples which you can, check and then treat this old woman. No, doctor, I need to relax it. And this is a good private hospital. So this is a typical Ghanaian thinking. Sir, they don't think fast.
It has nothing to do with the leaders.
They don't think fast. Our leaders is bound to the leaders. Also, no one is willing to lead. Oh, person will be my country and be and with me move on. Look, Nanado has been a bigger failure because he hasn't created no wealth to the country. I'm telling you, anything over Breno. The country is going nowhere. Young baby. And this is
because on the hope going who didn't president so 2024 only position
I think that it should be ashamed of himself because look, guy Bakubeka say what do you call it? A free education. Uma will be free education. That's what I manage. What is the education is about?
Okay. Now my brother, my mama do masa. So me kasa mo se my brother private for na me do.
Mami sure there me serious and me nyejuma ma obi da. And I have only last week I have about 3 students I have to train. So what you say? And they're gone. They're back. They're gonna go back to school next week because the whole week no more off.
Okay.
And I give something back to my community. The community love me. The country love me. I never seek for help for anybody.
Okay.
So what you say? Anywhere in my life.
Example now, I say free education, but I think your point is made.
No, it's made.
Good evening.
Afia, good evening.
Afia. But I mean, tell machine because a delay on platform.
Yeah, Afia. I am say the last caller here, Okasa, he's talking against free education. Say free education, will be free education. Yeah, no, I'm gonna.
I don't do volume now. Yes, I'm confused.
Okay, Madum, yeah, Madum, with the Facha Mekakra. Yeah, me support to NPP. Me party, I'm supporting no. So, what in Kapadia, and I believe NPP has done a lot. A lot to say when they came into power before the COVID, NPP took Ghana economy. Na Ubia for say Ghana economy na running as the fastest economy in the world. Me boa mon country. Enti no e den e bae e na sa nyema we nyina ba be see as see the Ghana economy is in crisis. In America here you see here was 7% to 8% of interest rate. E bin see that. Enti Joe Biden ye bo na chi nyina no. Because the COVID ne buy no e de niema na nke ye nsusu say de be ba na de abre. Because as at now, cost stock na okota de ade na ye $1. They say na almost $2. Edu ba bi na America, okoto a pack of 12 X na ye almost $7. Ye nim COVID no nsusu so e de aba. Ebi na obi ka say si ano. Almost sign 2 fridges mu almost 40% e wo China. Enti sa niema we nyina no fu say Eba keke, Ghana for Ama keke. But Nana Akufo-Addo, upon all the challenges that they have gone through, free education, Oma ni ba akukura mfim. Enkwala biane, enkwala enter dia umbeshe. Even registration na first omu ko school na omu ko school pa se one register and your registration fee ye pamo. Ebi CBM ye. Enti Akufo-Addo no mo amoti bigger cities to say Accra and yes, you feeling it, but Obiana ne Mahama ton yema odwemu free education or no oni bi wona brabo mu no ne wanya bi no. These are the keys I yekoto abama na baumia. And Obia be kanigi, Obia won the challenges. The peculiar challenges are Obia won a different because say ukwa akrasia onu na ne ba nanka free education ni won man kan ba won ko bi nanka koko krachi okobo besia e wo koko okuani no okobo besia fi koko krachi ho en wo di ni koko asia wo wa me maame ni sa ne ye mayen en ne ye di secondary school enti ye mu bi no secondary school no krampo no ye bre ansa ne ye ko enti sa ne ma wo sia akobi no mabrabo mu no ubehu se abato no ba umia be wini na NDC no Mahama de se ehu ni da we have seen him before ojina ho no okasa tia for education ni nyina nkwala no okasa kire omo no omutie o nursing training allowances otwa mu nyina enne na ba umia omasi atua bi. I'm looking at the road infrastructure too. Kumasi highway kufo ye papa kufo ne be fiti ase no wo ye me boa kan da no me ba Ghana na me drive to nkoko bypass na me say ekwan wo se nkie ye ya enka ba de sam pie broche ba ye nsuro se e be drive
that na wanye
se Mahama ne ba ye NDC ba ye no mutimi to aso
atamos to aso
wanye baby omukoye ni amada
baby atamos to aso ground $50 million. I remember that project. Yeah, to aso
baby no omo ye ofanko ho no me classmate and omo ba akufu ado mo ba no ba be wie the fan aka.
Yes, but atamos to aso they reviewed the contract to crack atamos to aso
fan aka.
Yes, yeah kwesi suhum ne ade at me say atamos to aso.
Okay,
I'm telling you, we reported it at almost but because there was no money at the time.
And to say, Sian, Akufuado, and Baumia, Omo Fitia Sia, Omo Ye Kumasi bypass. And then I need yes, Oko a Cape Coast, and so on, or Mastati or Moye. And you know, any more way in an or my con anymore. Economy never con anymore. And yes, I never when you build the infrastructure, ye roads. Obi kind under 111, 1 grada. Mimi kwatena bimbila na ho no na ye fa wo yare a wo be ma salaga anaso be ba the friend say Tamale hospital na bi ni ho ene se Nyankopon aya adom na se ye agenda 11 e wo every district or say adenti na omo ye ntwen kosi dadan eno ne ya na me ka se ye si free education na nka ye ntwen na nka esisi da ni ye wan ba ena na won tina fie na ho aba no wonko. Dr. Duchum Beka says we say the bia almost and yesisi dan ni Mahama no ma dwen no fine but Akufo-Addo hu say ya ton kwala ni bebre atuagu street so enti no san kwala ni enti no ye ma ye ntwen se yesisi dan ni no ene akwala bi ekọ school me wo fa ase for say nka nye say e free education anka me na me tuo school fees now no me tua support kakra de ma wo enti afia ba wo me be win based on the work and na Akufo-Addo aye. And I'm not say inflation near to house or her, near 3% in America. 3%.
Okay. But what you say when people say someone am promises and come fix it, and no am fix. What you say when people say that?
Can't say COVID no Emma or how about the whole world. America then can see that so kotoka you 9% in the better so amount interest rate. And see that.
Okay.
I mean
I say
Baumia beba. Me say omo kan Allen any omo keka ho no ye hu Allen omo de ye inform asem to na ye papa Mahama de wa ye bi ye hu ye ne penso me da se bebre nya me
yes papa bra Michael my enti Pacho good evening ni akwaba
yo good evening sister Ifia
Pacho enti sorry say mama watch a line so and only anu abedu kan bebre enti no
e ka juma no ni na ka juma no but sister Ifia sometimes me tie o college maybe let me say na politics
no more BP on
let me say
no more BP
especially approaching for see Leonardo I'm afraid education but I'm afraid Juma and Gao una ucha na say I see this in Juma or about I hope Juma can say who apply online what apply if you are 2 months 3 months put in front way.
Someone I'm also more better Juma. I think the politics say yeah Ghana and something am I not be a buying problem.
Ghana for say anjia to mu say bono ye boko yin ye mboba ye che they will be complaining every day. Say no ba America never boy the to extent say na uye djuma o. But one year yes as Africans one year djuma many means untimi tell danka. They say a danka twala mu to danka mu America ne. Bibia boy do America. But then you gonna for you to say you call your name never boy di. COVID ni buy no. I say me bia. What they bia. The auntie what is said they will be complaining sir. What you say? Who got $100? Who got cedi so beto ado America. Na nyama bo na edi. Who do come go to 1 cedi sana. So who profit who your business? Who profit? Business. You want to say like life no end up better sir. The auntie what is say every day politicians will be deceiving us. And then mama about power, then about be. Me mama about then about be. Obi o say money honeymoon.
What can say first 100 days over fix CD no first 100 days over fix the CD no.
This is why I say up power on team. This is why missing me. Whether NPP, NDC, or Bia no about Babaka so fix the economy. It did not to send a penny da. It will never work. It will never work. So I'm just to Musa or mana table. Namana, Nama, a word of my moon. I'm just to Musa. You bet put Nazi Yama or money more. You ain't die for Yama. Young Queen Nimuda.
Okay. You.
Queen Nimuda.
And now my microphone no break. I don't know why. I'm also using earpiece. Earpiece na more. It's always affected the quality of the audio.
Maybe you know.
Tonka.
You should allow our laws to work in Ghana. Sebi. So be this in Hune Tina. We should stop painting our security agencies NDC or NPP. Hope Sandoye, who in Palasama who didn't draw. What could that reduce no work? No, you go put skip the senior show. And you didn't show. Oh, Steve, yeah. So that's your penny for no. I would jump. Hope say one show ya. One alarm. Disappointed my ni political career. A big see forever. Because Allah you be no only I could do the politics. People that cannot say my resign may die. Put the money election, we never 2 for election. No island expectation of social 77 bad biome or be go for todo.
No, but you must say you are the don't be another person. But good evening.
Steph, yeah, good evening.
You.
I want to start from where the gentleman that just spoke ended.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, sometimes when I listen to people like the man just spoke, Ayana, I wonder, say, do people just listen just to give a response, or they just listen to understand issues? I mean, we are in this country, and I'm about being there, or seeing trouble and my president, Kacha say. I'm a mona course of the SWAL administration, I mean, but me and the corner adjectives. Incompetent nice man, Obi exchange rate, exchange rate, when it was even less than 4 cities. And under an IMF propelled economy, I'm 16 cities, and you're still telling us that ODN is still better than Nipana now are born. And when the NPP communicators are making comparison, they still compare their records with the so-called incompetent John Mahama. So Nipan also are born, wasa, and nothing you free how they will buy. So why do you still compare yourself with Nipana or born? Again, he made mention of Hope Senator and some okay. Yes, I believe nobody is above the law. So Obiya, the law must take its course. But in doing so, no, things must be done professionally. Against the backdrop of the fact that we live in a country, people have said even worse things than this. Kwame Sifaka issue soon as Samuel Ukukotran said he knows the help of armed robbers and we for. And on the police fire is a domonte. Senka elsewhere in any serious jurisdiction and Kajong Samuel Kubai now, I think police were inviting us on also my assistant. But when I'm free because of MPP, I as a Ghana and say, no MPP, you are treated like a first-class citizen. And when you belong to the other side of the political divider, you are treated as a second or third-class citizen. Now, Alan Chamatin has never said anywhere, say, in the whole life, hanged up on this election, so one we near. Or like when so when I see people talk like Alan Berry resign, yeah, maybe say. do they really understand the issues that really compelled Alan Chamatin to leave the NPP, or they just want to speak like this because they have this emotional attachments to Abia Party and Alan Chamatin woman? We are saying Penyisi and Kendi which he has Alan Chamatin, what he has endured in the NPP from time or stepping that man and Ado Legon. People don't know. So Sene Alan free NPP Nedia, I say, or ye weak, but when Alan relinquished his personal ambitions of giving the second round to Nanane, the Ubian Kasane, the Naniemre, no a week. Because I don't see another form of withdrawing from a race. So I want people to kind of make submissions based on
relinquish though. Great all elections and some contesting Alan Luzu yet.
No, what I'm saying is what I'm saying is
withdraw and it was left with Nanado and Alan.
Yes, and they were supposed to go. They were supposed to go for a second round. I'm talking about Legon.
Legon. I covered that primary. He went. It was fully contested and he lost. He didn't relinquish. One withdraw.
But what was when they were supposed to have gone for the, none of them crossed the 50+1 part in the Pedanamebo, if my memory serves me right.
Except a first primary is near 50+1 as a primary is near a simple majority. A 50+1 near general elections, but party primary is near 50+1 as a.
Okay, so even
and block any a great hall.
Great, yeah.
Great hall. I was there throughout the primary, until we declared the results and we left.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, Ubiko context. Now say Okase are there ABCD and characterize elections now? Me feel say they were not addressed and they were not well addressed. And as a system, was skewed in favor of one thing, especially when almost all the contestants and aspirants raised questions and those questions were not answered. Now, so no feel say, okay, these are my personal set values. They do not, synchronize with party Indian and as a party na because of that, the party has a little resemblance of what the party we gave birth to. How does this amount to be an The man is rather principled, say. He believed in equity. Alan never said we should give the thing to him on a silver platter. What the man was asking for was equity. At the end of the day, Senkamo yes and kene and yen say about me winning Kennedy Japan as with him can Avian Kalan Koda suit. But Monsachin Sayam Nitina Honintino, Amadio Lucy a cran if you say Muchin Chimney, Samuski in favor of the one that has won. And to say if he has won or no one carrying a cross. And does this augur well for and as we speak, this is the first time I met who said Yato Obama will be as a flag bearer 6 months in Echo 7 months, when in the running mate. They will come out and make all things look like there is no problem, but there are underlying factors. They know. Party, there are cracks within the party now. And when people come and talk because they have this emotional attachments to the political party, by my NPP for me, my polling station at mother. And a son such in say, if you say, if I cannot be in a party, didn't mean my own for but rather, I say you must kowtow to the whims and caprices of certain authorities. Maybe say I don't belong to such a circle. Whenever I'm in a circle and I don't think say we allow us to use our own thinking to decide, just say will be influenced, maybe free. And don't think be free my ideal and not. And yes, they are because of the BNT, but it's because some of us have chosen not to do politics of convenience, but politics of conviction. Sepapano stood for what was right, and the party that claims to be a party of the democratic whatever, and then apostles of democracy, and they have virtually no resemblance of the party going up from the streets of the Chemso. I saw.
And do you think it will affect NPP for in terms of say you lose the elections now?
Simple calculation. Or they let Alan win, let Alan get 10 votes from each polling station in the election. The last election, 2016, NDC targeted 30% from the Ashanti region. They got 23, if my memory serves me right. 2020, they got 26. Now, if Alan Chamatin,
seats and percentage.
No, I mean percentage wise in the Ashanti region. She say NDC,
no, make sure
no
they
NDC
got 71%. NDC got 26%.
26, yeah, it's NDC that I'm talking about. That they increased
26%.
from 2016. Yes, they got 26%. So moving into 2024 election now, what share the dynamics? I said, if you Michelle, mostly Michelle, a party that won from opposition or the 1 million votes difference in winning. Now also I implemented free SHS. One would have expected, say, and Calbit increase and I'll maintain this margin, but it reduced. You share parliament this year, and then with Alan Chematin, who also drives a lot of the strength from the Ashanti region. What the influence Alan Chematin was kwata. Let Alan Chematin get 2% from the Ashanti region. Now NDC is maintaining a 26, 28, almost 30%. NPP is finished. And so, arrogance of power and complacency now when they come out, they talk like as a Ghana for no so daft said the question we are going to be based. We are going to base our elections on will meet a party near the party in Chamefum, and those times in the Chem. And then and the debt in the buyer is a Ghana car EDC, ya more NPP and NDC Jantaro. Yes, say Ghana for and the Chobiaka and Kubiaka to say. So it should tell an ordinary Ghanaian citizen or sorry, I'm matching the ball, Ecosa light to Abane say. Moving forward, it's no longer about political parties. Political parties, they are just vehicles through which people come and serve. I mean, almost the best of mine. So, okay. Basi, we're about to on party without emphasizing on the candidate party in the neighbor. At the end of the day, we don't declare NPP as president-elect. We declare a person as the president-elect. So, moving forward, we should focus on the merit of the person and not on the political party. Nipan, yes.
Yo. I mean, I say, friends, this has been very, very interesting. We'll be actually at the end of the day, it goes back to Asama American, which is the men now them many day. Men can't hear there. Obi Ababa expressing the opinion, which is beautiful. It's part of the democratic process. But why near Juma team or party or candidate Nipaneberry? Said the island and call for a can use Nipan soon in the bank. It should all be part of the decision to select a leader, because at the end of the day, the leader now what one you are voting for a party, but you are voting for a leader and all ballot paper no eso. Into which person do you think will get it? Mahama na, Baumia na, Kofi Kranti na, Alan Chemanti na, Guma na, Chabosuma na, PNC, CPP, whatever. At the end of the day, that person will determine. That person will be determined. Said Ebeko. Attack no say if you they don't even waste your time on this Baomian and the propaganda people. No, they will all go down. Obi send message was send the no. Obi see you people don't know anything. It's very interesting. I think that's for some reason a bit more. I don't know, Zebi. I saw your banner. You seem to understand a particular issue now, Kasa. People just get offended. So your bar, you know politics. It just by default. I happen to have covered politics for a long time, over 20 years. Into a lot of the things that go through is not that meaning more than anybody, but just because by default, because I've been monitoring politics and covering it for a long time. And it is Obi message on also they are saying 8 years now has gone by so fast. And so shall they from corruption, incompetence near the this is going to inform Obiso the decision on also the ideas many views are very different. And depending on where Nipano or which area the person is, whether we that determines how the person speaks at every level. But it's been very, very beautiful and fantastic having you. Like I'm saying, the decision is up to you now. And one man, one vote. Obi anyone vote here too. The obey you gum cry. One man, one vote. So what you do will determine the course of December 7th. And of course, that's why media say across board, baby, on air, online, everywhere. We will be there to cover the details. A day after the vote, we will give you the results and say thank you so much. And joining any just you may do Ebreo and Yakupon Wednesday with another edition of Jasu. I was trying to get you a video of a friends don't get any other people any of the things that they said before the elections. But thank you so much, and then we'll join here on Jasu. Yakupon Yaduma next week. Thank you so much and good night.